Be sure to hit that like button, share this content, let that friend, that neighbor know where to go when it's time to tune in to Cowboys Sports Talk and beyond. That's including the Ice Wall, baby. The name is Law Nation. Let's get it. One thing we all adore, something worth dying for. There's nothing but pain. We're stuck in this game, searching for fortune and fame. Heat up, baby. I am. Come on, baby. The drama for your mama, baby. Brought to you by Jerry Wayne Jones, Stephen Jones, Willie McClay. Willie! Come on, baby. Riggs! I can't take this no more, Riggs. Stand Tall, the longest intro in the land. That's because I don't have a producer yet. But when I get a producer, boy, we gonna be producing right on in. 5. Thou shalt decree a thing, and it shall be established. 4.
Look at my African American.
Shit over there, man. 3. What we got? Bologna. Hey. Come on, baby. 2. And I think y'all like this. I think you like this, Killer Monster. You hear that? Do you hear this, Killer Monsters? Did I say 2 already? And what? Ain't no party like a cowboy party. Ain't no party like a Law Nation party. To the window, to the wall, until the sweat drops down my hey. Let's go, baby. Mama said that there'll be days, literally, just like this. All right, boy, if you ain't crunk right now, if you ain't standing tall or not at all right now, come on, man, I don't know who you are, man. We should be crunk at the end of the day. Oh, I forgot to check on the new monies, man. We got new monies, man. We should get a little bit more monies. Let me check that out. That's what I needed to pull up. Over the cap. How y'all feeling around this time? Oh my gosh, on a Friday, boy, we gonna be talking about these picks that we got, man. We gonna be talking about some good things, but we gotta get there first. Tomorrow is the draft, right? And I can't wait. I can't wait, man. I love y'all. Appreciate you. Cool Coleman, appreciate you. Melvin Silver, baby. P-Chai-esque, I believe. Come on, man. Appreciate you. As the room fill up, be sure to hit that like button, share this content. Let a friend or a neighbor know this is what it looks like over here. Come on, baby. We're going to talk about all the other things that they've been talking about over there. And, of course, hold on, let me log in right quick. Gotta log in to see where we at with our monies. Let me see where we at with our monies, man. Big money. Appreciate y'all, man. Toxic Tom. He says, I'm not excited, man. Realistically speaking, come on, Toxic, man. What we got to do to get you excited, man? What we got to do, man? Yes, indeed. Now, Toxic Tom, if you're ever in Dallas, man, we're going to have to hang out. I can take you down this road called Harry Hines, and I'm telling you, they got a little bit of everything. They get you excited just a little bit, Just let me know whenever you're in town, Whenever Toxic Tom is in town, let's try to take him to Harry Hines. You'll be excited there, more than what I can't take you to the Star in Frisco, and I definitely can't take you down there to Arlington where the Cowboys play, the Arlington Cowboys. I'm not going to take you there. You might bump into Jerry, and Lord knows what's going to happen if you ever bump into Jerry. So I'm gonna take you to Harry Hines Boulevard. Yes, indeed. But our new money that we got a little bit from the aspect of getting Brandon Aubrey in and all of this stuff is $15.7 million, man. So that's $15, man. We can do a lot with $15 down Harry Hines, though, by the way. But 63 is for Titans. The Commanders got $49. And where's the Bears got, well, there'll be 21 pennies. Well, there'll be 21 cents if we doing this, by the way. So they only got 21 cents over there. We rounded up, and they got 22 cents, right? And the Dolphins got $1. So, and the Dolphins got to worry about Jordan Brooks. So they're going to trade. They're going to give us Jordan Brooks, man. They're going to figure out a way to give us Jordan Brooks. I'm going to speak this into existence. We're going to have some good stuff.
Yeah, on paper.
Yeah. On paper, we're going to have a great thing, man. Appreciate your parlay. With that being said, top of the morning, my Mississippi brother. Appreciate you, Arturo's. Appreciate you. All right, so let's get right to it. The Cowboys, they've been rumored around about moving up in this draft. There's been conversational pieces about that. Let's get right to the skinny of this. Shout out to my guy, Bucky Brooks, right? I'm going him and Louis Riddick, I get them two confused. And I know everybody say, oh, y'all brothers look alike, but him and Louis Riddick, they give me all the time. I thank you so much. So give me 1 second here, and let's pull this audio up. Appreciate y'all, man. Y'all know I'm still bootleg, so y'all bear with me, man. I don't have a budget yet. Come on,
I want to talk to you about another thing because, like, there's some buzz, word on the street. We talked about the Cowboys and Cowboys moving up, and people kind of have started talking about the Cleveland Browns at 6. I saw all these mock draft reports. It seemed like they're open for business. You really think the Cowboys going to jump up into the top 10?
I think they could. I think they could, and the reason's simple is so they've got two. It really depends on what happens for me at pick number 3. If Arizona gets froggy and takes Jeremiah Love, well, what happens at 4? What happens at 5? I mean, if the Cowboys are sitting there in Sonny Styles, they got a need at inside linebacker. And Sonny Styles there, we just got done talking about it. Now,
before they go, even though I talk glowingly of Sonny Styles, and Styles make fights, I'm with the belief that we stay still. I'm not with the belief of moving up for him. I'm not with that belief. I think we should be like a tree planted by the water. I should not be moved. I think that the Cowboys should stand still. If anything, they trade back and not up. Why? Because we got holes in different areas on this team. And trading up, you still going to leave multitudes of holes. And in this draft, I just don't feel comfortable of getting any of these guys that can be a world game changer. Now, Caleb Downs, on paper, he can be that much of a difference maker. But that's why coach is supposed to be there too. I get the notion that Downs and Dillon and what's the other guy? Maybe Mansour Delane. The guy with all of the names, Warren McNeil, keep forgetting his name, Toledo guy. Maybe, just maybe, in a vacuum, that Downs is so far ahead of those guys. But the person that can bridge the gap of that supposed to be the coaching. So that's why I say don't move up. Just be still.
it's a good linebacker draft.
Right.
But Sonny's a little different. Now, I've got Sonny Styles going to Robert Saleh at 4. Okay. So then you have to, well, if Caleb Downs is off the board, then who would the Cowboys, would the Cowboys jump up? Well, in my scenario, Arvell Reese could slide to. Yeah. So I think maybe Caleb, the Ohio State guys, Sonny, Caleb, and Arvell Reese, they all have something kind of different and unique about them. And I think we could see Dallas. They got 2 in the first round. I think we could see them maybe become players in the aggressive trade up. I had a little birdie tell me today that they're one of the ones who are really, working the phone lines right now in advance, potentially looking for something on draft day. So I would not put it past the Dallas Cowboys to jump into.
Now, the report's out that if they work in the phone lines, not many people going to tell Jerry no, right? Right? Jerry shouldn't take no for an answer. He got more years behind him than in front of him. But I'm with the belief, if you do decide to move up, let it be for a real thing, man. Not look. What's the real thing, Law? I'm on record. I'm going to say it again. I'm on record and I'm going to say it again. If you going to move up in this draft, and if you see somebody that you ultimately want and you need to have on this team with the silver and blue and the star on the side of your helmet, if you going to move up, then you better go move up to go get a guy that you know for sure that been putting in work ever since he been in the league. He had double-digit sacks. Just had damn near the sack record last season. 23 sacks, by the way. 2 forced fumbles. I'm talking about a real thing. If you're going to move up, then you better be on the phone in Cleveland sitting there saying, hey, you want to get this spot and give us this and that? No. I just want Myles Garrett. I would deal with the rest later on down the stretch. If I'm moving up, I'm going to go get him. Y'all may talk about age. Y'all may, hell, he only 4 years older than Mesidor. Jeez.
Yeah, on paper.
Yeah. People talk about age and all of this stuff. Move up. If you move up, people literally is thinking about drafting Mesidor Hakeem,
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness.
They only 4 years apart. Mesidor been in the college for 6 years, 6 seasons. And you're thinking about drafting him. Well, if you're thinking about drafting Mesidor, forget all of that. Just give me the source. Go give me Myles Garrett. They're only 4 years apart, man. Come on, man. I think Myles will be able to make up all of that stuff. Now, that's just me wishful thinking, by the way. But if you work in the phone lines, Jerry, work that angle, right? And if something happened that we would know for sure that it's a curse upon the Jerry Jones, Sky Mirror, and all of the things that they do, if all of a sudden you pick up Myles Garrett, not Monroe, and all of a sudden he don't give you double-digit sacks or he don't have a full, complete season, then I'll say, man, you know what? Hey, the Cowboys are just cursed. Whatever deal that you made in the 90s is a real thing. Because wherever Myles Garrett, look, don't have me to pull up his stat sheet again. Hold on. Y'all going to have me pulling up his stat sheet one more time. Hold on. No, hold on. Let me pull up. Let me see. SpotRack, sportstrack.com, Myles Garrett. Okay, hold on. I'm going to pull up Myles Garrett. Hold on. I'm going to pull this up one more time because people don't believe it in what I'm saying, basically. All right. And I know, I get it. You know what I'm saying? The last time we lifted up our Lombardi trophies was when the year he was born, in 1995, right? But if I look at these stats, I'm going to say again, let me zoom it in. Get me up off the frame, baby. Get me up out of here. All right? So, like I said, people will argue, but argue with yourself or your cousin and them. After his first year, he had 7. We would take 7 right now, believe it or not. But since then, 14, 10, 12, 16, 16, 14, 14, 23. And he got paid, he got 23. Most people have a decline once they get paid because they already look at it like, hey, I got the bag now. I don't need much, right? But what I'm saying is, even if he have a decline from 23 to 14, I'm taking it. If he have a decline from 23 to 12, I'm taking that. Even in a pinch in a small Costco sample size, if Myles Garrett can only give us 10 sacks, I'm taking that because there's no way, shape, form, or fashion whoever we draft is going to produce these type of numbers. And I know money is money, but you got to look at the full, complete picture. And some point at some time, we got to be aggressive. If we're going to move up for anybody, move up for this guy, Myles Garrett, and sell to the Cleveland. We got 2 first-round draft picks. Look, y'all got 2 first-round draft picks in this draft. You can pretty much walk out of here with 4 first-round draft picks, create a foundation so that your team can win down the stretch. Come on, man. Y'all let me know if I'm off, man. Y'all let me know if I'm lying. Come on, man. Law, can 9-5 play in a 3-4 defense? 3-4, 4-3, 5-2. It doesn't matter. He can play in all shape, form, and fashions of defense. Did you see where Myles Garrett get his sacks from? He can play inline. He can play on the outside. And on top of that, there should be no questioning. Because if you look at Myles Garrett, he can even drop in coverage. But why drop him in coverage? Even if you look at Myles Garrett, can you imagine somebody saying, yeah, man, that's good, man. I don't want Myles Garrett. Why you don't want him? Man, because I don't think he can play in a 3-4 defense. That's how I'll be looking at him. You know, hold on. Yes, indeed. Hold on. Shout out to you, Todd. Appreciate you, man. Thank you for jumping in. This is how I will be looking at him. Come on, man. Ain't no way. I would, if Myles Garrett come over here and he say, you know what, I want to switch the defense to a 4-3 defense. I don't give a dog what you said, CP. We switching this defense to a 4-3, right? If he say I want to switch it to a 3-4 defense, we switch it to 3-4 defense. You know, it doesn't matter what he's saying. But that is crazy. We should never look at that. The reason why Taco was drafted here is because people said that, man, he's a 4-3 guy. TJ is a 3-4 guy. Doesn't matter. Go get the better dude. Go get the better player, you know. All right, but neither here nor there, ladies and gentlemen. Let's keep it moving. Thank you, everybody, for rocking with me, man. Hit that like button, share this content, let a friend or a neighbor know where to go when it's time to tune in to Cowboys Sports Talk and beyond. Let's talk about this, what Peter Strager said.
But there is talk right now around the league that the Cowboys might be a team that's either moving back if they feel like they definitely can't get one of those guys, they want to collect more picks, they don't have a second-round pick, or moving up and taking a big swing. I have heard talk that they might be one of the teams that's moving up all the way to 3 if Arvell Reese is on the board and the Cardinals are willing to trade back. So the Cowboys become a really interesting team in this draft. We're more than 24 hours out. But with the 12 and the 20 and the need for defense and a defensive star, I am keeping an eye on Brian Schottenheimer, Stephen Jones, Will McClay, and of course, Mr. Jerry Jones to see how they are taking this draft and approaching it over the next 24 hours.
In the next 24 hours. So, Willie, you need to stand tall with it, brother. Yes, indeed. Willie McClay need to stand tall with it. And I think that he need to be a person that can say, hey, man, my reputation's on the line now, Jones. Now, I got this young kid over here that's teaching me some things, right? I can't be measurable dependent anymore. Cause that was Willie. That was Chris Hall and all of them boys' philosophy, whereas they looking for a certain trait, size, and stuff. But CP Christian Parker was saying basically, it's not about the size. It's about the mind, right? The measurables of the heart is where we looking at, right? And they also spread that upon the scouting department. Like let's take measurables and all of this stuff, ball it up, throw it out. Now, we still need to have guys that can fit what we're trying to do here. But most importantly, on a scale of 1 to 5, we're not making height, size, and all of that stuff the caveat or the main thing, right? The main thing will be the mind. And I can't wait to see how this draft is going to look for the 2026. Sampson states, if we trade for Miles, I will cut the TV off. To hell with the draft. What? Bro, if we trade for Miles, I ain't gonna cut my beard off, but man, I'm gonna flip and do some crazy great things. What you mean? What you mean? the whole notion, and I get it. I get the argument. It is a strong argument backed up with some data, but I don't think it's empirical data. You know what I'm saying? It's not that. But what I can say, when you look at elite pass rushers, don't y'all fall into these people on TikTok, and don't y'all fall into a few people on Instagram and Twitter saying, hey, elite pass rushers don't technically win you Super Bowls. The last few Super Bowls that was won were without elite pass rushers. Don't fall into that straw man's argument. Don't do that. Don't do that, ladies and gentlemen. Don't do that. Because most people are conditioned to think a certain way. And I'm going to have that video up in a few, of what people are conditioned of. Yes, like KJ says, Miles is overrated. Where? Where? Because the Cleveland Browns technically is where players go to die, right? It's unfortunate. Tim Couch probably would have been a great prospect. Johnny Manziel, we knew what happened with that, but Baker Mayfield is a great example. Deshaun Watson, man, he went from the massage parlor to there to never even really play a meaningful snap. And it's been technically Cleveland Browns' fault for a lot of things, by the way. Giving Deshaun Watson $200 million guaranteed or something like that before he could even play it down, all money being guaranteed. It's been the Cleveland messing up the markets, right? Even with the Myles Garrett thing, paying him $40 at that time. We were sitting here like, wow, right? It's been Cleveland messing up a lot of things, so let's go. Is the press conference on now? What time the presser is, my guy Toxic? Please, please, please let me know what time the press is. Can we get Styles and Rodriguez, Bash Bros, AJ, G? We can definitely do that. Let me pull this up right quick. When we start talking about Jacob Rodriguez, when we start to mention, it's on now? Hold on. If it's on now, boy, is the press on right now? Hold on. Let me go to YouTube. Good timing, baby. Good timing. Let me see.
Go Cowboys!
All right, that's the most crunkiest, annoying song ever, man. I'm gonna reach out to Derek Eagleton or something like, man, put this in there, man. Put that in there, man. You know? Now they got a long intro too, though. That intro be longer than Shaq Feet. Hopefully they be on time. Look, y'all let me know when they get ready, man. Somebody let me know because they be like, presser at 11 o'clock. It's 11:23. You know, they on CP time for real. Oh, Christian Parker time. No offense to that. You know, that music will play for 10 minutes. They did it to compete against me. You know, that's what it is. They just for what it is. They try to compete against me. Come on. All right, but with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, back to Jacob Rodriguez. I like the notion. I would love for him to be in the Cowboys uniform. I call him, no offense if it's offend anyone, I call him the Mexican Sean Lee. You know, if that offend anyone, man, damn boy, be so soft around here. But I call him the Mexican Sean Lee because he fits in the middle of the field. He plays through the echoes of the whistle. He got great back pedal, got good visions of when the ball is out there in the air, either he attacks the ball or he allows you to catch it and he peanut punches it. He try to rips it off. And I think that what Rodriguez got that most other linebackers don't is that he understands. There's throwing lanes, there's zones, and there's reads, right? And he used to be a quarterback, by the way. And Tony Romo was one of his guys. But, you know, so when you start to think about a guy in general that understands passing lanes, concepts of where the quarterback likes to read, all quarterbacks read from a progression style, high to low. When they teach quarterbacks one-on-one to throw the ball, if you play basketball or football or any distributor type of sport, like you distributing the ball, you read from high to low. You got to be able to hit your head high, right? You ever seen somebody dribbling the basketball and they looking down and they're not reading down the field or down the court? You steal the ball every time. I'm like the glove on defense, right? You looking down while you dribbling, that ain't gonna work. You got to make sure that you survey and keep your head on a swivel and get things going. So by what I'm looking at, when you look at the Mexican Lee Rodriguez, you looking at a guy that understands that. Quarterbacks reading from high to low. They got their check off. They got their balance system, what they're trying to overlook or what have you, trying to take away. When you look at tape, you see shades of him knowing where you got to be at with that ball and your progressions. And he takes that gamble and he jumps on it. He hit and fit. He understand. If you coming across the middle, there's a toll tax. You're going to have to get paid for that. Eyes up, Todd Sutton. Come on, baby. So that's why I like Jacob Rodriguez. Yes, indeed. Trip Ace said, man, I'm so tired of these dumb Cowboy fans. You're right. So Cowboys don't have capital to go to 3, please. You talking about the moving up to the 3rd overall draft pick. Don't do that, Cowboys. If I'm bagging anything, don't spoil your 2 first-round draft picks by trying to get too creative and cute and moving up. Sit still. You're going to have your dynamic player there available for you. All right, when the presser absolutely starts, let me know. And before we get into that, Adam Schefter talked about the George Pickens thing. Hear me out. I get it. I want George Pickens here, just like everybody. Or in the words of Mike McCarthy, just like anything. We want George Pickens here. In a conversation far as negotiation, the number one thing would be to meet somewhere in the middle. We just witnessed Todd France with his kicker Brandon Aubrey saying that, hey, they want $10 million. It was leaked out. because the Cowboys knew that if we leak out this $10 million, then the fan base collectively is going to be on our side. Because there's going to be a lot of people say, ain't no damn way we going to pay a kicker $10 million, blah, 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 blah. Todd France people like, damn, these guys are shrewd with it. They so crazy. We never said that we want $10 million. You going to give us $10 million, though? You know? And then they said, no, we going to put a tender on you. And if somebody want to feel froggy to give you $10 million, we get something back in return. We are willing to walk away from Brandon Butter Aubrey, right? And then what they did was the negotiation happened, and they started to come to a middle ground, somewhere in between. And it ended up being $7 million, $20 million guaranteed, $5 million for whatever signing, and $15 fully for next year and beyond, right? So $20 million, that kicker went from kicking soccer to a development league. Now he's a multi-millionaire that literally he's set up for life. He don't have to worry about anything. Now the questioning is here. Now that you got George Pickens, David Mulugeta is like the final boss. Todd France is up here. David Mulugeta, negotiation is way up here somewhere in the ether, right? My guy Rocky Arsenal somewhere down here. All of these guys done took Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones, and Willie all to the woodshed, right? And what we don't want is for this to fester on and fester on and fester on. At some point, a conversation is needed. We're going to play this clip, and these are things that has been talked about.
They're nowhere with George Pickens right now. Nowhere with George Pickens. They are not really talking about an extension. They're not close to an extension. They're not getting a deal done at this point in time. He's on the franchise tag. That situation is just sitting out there. And the Cowboys are said to really like Jordan Tyson, so it's just one more subplot in a draft filled with them entering Thursday night.
All right, so the Cowboys, remember this. They are a team. They are a team that most people say never cut your nose to spite your face. Don't cut your legs out from up under you, that type of thing. The Cowboys, hold on, I got some updated news. The Cowboys are with the belief, F all of that. We do what we want to do. We will cut our nose off to spite our face. We will cut our legs out from under our feet. Law, do you have any truth to this? Who walks away from a two-time winning Super Bowl champ? Back-to-back. Cowboys. Don't nobody do that. And then ultimately say to that person, I can find 500 other coaches to do this. For them to still make it to the postseason without Jimmy, right? Didn't play up to the level or up to the degree that they used to. But ultimately, that next year to win and lift up that Lombardi trophy, sometimes your success could be your own enemy. And Jerry Jones, I love the Jones family, by the way. You know what I'm saying? But Jerry Jones will have everybody feet to the fire, even his own lady that he sleep with every night. She said, how you going to fix this? Jerry was in the documentary. Everything been in the documentary. I'm not telling y'all fibs. When you going to fix this? How you going to fix this? So if Jerry Jones played hardball with Jimmy Johnson, matter of fact, okay, let me stop my conversation. Let's listen to this. Jerry! Don't y'all come after me, man. I'm just talking.
I just need to inform everybody that what you're about to hear over the next 30 minutes or so may be truthful and it may not be truthful. All right?
Hello?
This is a draft meeting. We
Hello?
have to do that legally.
Yeah.
Good to see you guys.
Who on the phone?
Good afternoon. Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News. I have two questions. The first one's for Will. A lot of draft experts say this is a strong defensive draft, but overall it might not be as strong as previous drafts. What are your thoughts on the strength of this draft?
I mean, there's good football players all over the draft, and we won't know how good they are until they perform in the NFL. These guys deserve an opportunity, and we will evaluate all the qualities and see how they fit us.
For Jerry and Steven, you guys always say that on the night of a draft, that's when trade talks pick up. But because of what the Giants did over the weekend and what your needs are, have trade talks picked up in the last couple of days with you guys?
Yeah, I wouldn't say they've necessarily heated up. I mean, there's always the occasional call that, hey, we'd have interest, or might, if our guy's not there, we'd have interest, but nothing concrete.
Jerry, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, we have trades. There is, you could imagine getting a call right now and making a trade. Picks are players.
By the way, we talk too much.
That hasn't usually been our experience. It has to happen when a team gets the urgency of having a player within striking range with where their pick's going to be. We all understand that. But certainly the nature of having extra picks in that first round gives more credence to some options.
That's
here,
the word of the day.
Would be up or down.
Still DLLS Cowboys, you said you could imagine, has there been any calls made, or have you received any calls?
Yes.
You have received calls.
Yes.
Yes. Yes, Jerry.
You told us at the
yes.
combine that you wanted to be more aggressive in Raiders. You plan to be more aggressive in improving this team. Have you done that, and will you take that same aggression into the draft as far as trying to move up to get a difference-making player?
Done that, yes. We've signed that kicker for
Hit
the
that like button.
kicker in the history of kicking, as an example. As an example. Yeah, we really, I give Steven so much credit here and his staff.
Hit that like button, y'all.
But, we're in a position that we can do some things, flexibility that allow us, if that opportunity were there and we could do a now thing regarding the financial of it, we probably have more flexibility than we've had in years past.
Will you, I know you're receiving calls, but will you make calls to move up? Is that part of what you're talking about?
I don't know that. I don't know that. They're usually candidly better coming in than going out. The results are better for us.
Yeah, I mean, it can work both ways. You can improve your team moving back if you make the right selections, because you get more players, and sometimes more is better than one.
Ah, Lord.
And so obviously we look at both and the value it takes to either move up or what value we get for moving back. And, that's true every year.
We're real prepared because we did have the extra pick. We're really prepared for our options here. And,
what's your point?
Probably more so than if we just had one pick.
Jerry Tallerich with ESPN. With the
Come on, y'all,
defensive
share
needs
this.
you have and the players that could be available, do you anticipate having to be more nimble with what you may do before the clock, depending on if there's a run on guys that you like, that you may have to make a small move up? Do you have to be more nimble than you maybe would want to have been in the past?
Yeah, well, you would expect us, and our fans expect us to be ready. The nature of the way things are today, and candidly, Will's preparation, the staff's, coaching staff's input, scouts, Stevens, we're as ready as I can ever remember. And we have all anticipated getting to be in this draft. And if we can get more value out of the draft than just where the picks line you right now. And that'll be where you go from. But we're obviously, if we got something that really excited you going down, there's got to be, logic tells you there's something sitting there that you might ought to look at too. And go back to, we were just talking about it this morning. We were strong oriented toward defense in the Lamb draft, and we didn't go that way. We went with Lamb with the pick. So, and that's alive and well. We would, given the right circumstances, we'll go offense. Even though you're saying add up or look at your holes, it's probably more on the defensive side of the ball right now. More questions on the defensive side of the ball, and that's trying.
Building the plane as we fly, baby.
With, our results last year, but we've taken all of that in consideration. Been taking it in the off season. There's every kind of trade possible over these next few days. Player on other rosters, draft picks, all that's very much in play.
For Stephen and Will, how much do you guys play through the contingencies coming into this thing? Like, how many mock drafts do you guys go through yourself just to be prepared for anything that may happen at 12-1?
Go ahead, Will.
I think that's the beauty of what we do is we go through the process of evaluating them all.
Don't tell them.
We go through the mock drafts and all those things and all of the predictive stuff where guys are going to be and kind of formulate strategies from there. But we look at all of that and go through the full process.
And, it's not just the number of mock drafts you run. I mean, just the verbal back and forth, the scenarios that might come up that just go on. Sometimes it's just between Coach, Jerry, myself, and Will just talking about it. Sometimes it's just sitting in the room with the scouts talking about it, not necessarily running a mock draft of all the scenarios that, could help our football team. And you just slowly but surely get your hands around what you think is going to be in the best interest of our football team, and then try to orchestrate on draft day, especially with these 2-1s. I mean, once you get much past the first round, it really is an exercise in futility, guessing what might be there, what might not be there. That's why you have your board up, and you count on your board as it gets closer to your pick to then start to manipulate what your next move might be.
I was visiting with Shotty a couple of days ago, and and y'all knew you were going to get one of these old stories when you came in here. So,
snap.
Hopefully this is it for you. But I said to Shotty, I have a practice of decision making.
Okay.
And I like to make it days or weeks, and then I like to just live with it and see how it feels. We are in a process where we've been looking at all kinds of players, a lot of good players, lots of them. Trends, or this year it's this or that or what have you. But when you roll the clock forward to Sunday night or Saturday night, there won't be but just 6 or 7 or 8 of these draft picks, and then there'll be those free agents up there. We've looked at hundreds of players, but that's all that we'll have. And from that point forward, thinking about those other guys don't count until years later you may be trading for one of them and can use all this work to help you make that trade. But the point is, all you're going to really end up with is a certain number of players. Now, wear that for a few days and write down the players of these top 3, 4, 5 rounds that you'd like to have there when Saturday comes, whatever it's going to look at, because that's all you're going to live with. That's all you're going to go forward with on building the team is that right there. I came down to watch the Cowboys with Charlotte, and the owner of the team, Bum Bright, had Roger Staubach sit with me, and we watched Bill Parcells and the Giants play Tom Landry and the Cowboys, and it was rainy old day. And there weren't really but about a third of the stadium there from almost the time I looked at it. But down near the end, it got down to where there might not be but 5,000 or 6,000. Well, then you couldn't buy a beer or have a drink, and so you brought it in coolers. And so there were hundreds and thousands of beer cans and thousands of liquor bottles all in the stands and the seats down there. Well, about the beginning of the fourth quarter, I said, I'm gonna see what it would be like to be sitting out in the middle of that grizzly rain, Giants just tore the Cowboys up. There couldn't have been over 5,000 or 6,000 people left out there. And I'm going to go out there and sit in that rain and kick those cans and stuff out of the way and just feel like what it's going to feel sitting here after I'd spent every dime that I had or going to have. And yet I'm sitting out in this rain getting beat like this. Can I live with it? How bad do I want to be here? And I went down there and sat, left old Staubach. Staubach was up there sitting with it. Left them. But kicked those cans out of the way and walked back up that aisle and said, hell, I can live with this. This is where I want to be. And if I hadn't given up all my money, this is where I want to be. That exercise is good to do in times like this. It diminishes maybe some enthusiasm, or it enhances enthusiasm for a time. But that's called living with the decision a few days before you do it.
John Machota with The Athletic for Will. I think Christian Parker is your sixth defensive coordinator you're going to work with in a draft from the last 8 years. What's the biggest difference, I would guess, working with Christian compared to maybe some of the other defensive coordinators you worked with going into a draft?
I think every coach that you bring in, they have a philosophy. They have players that they look for. They're looking for good football players. He's done a great job of telling us what he's looking for and how he's going to use it, and increases the vision of how we see players. As scouts, we go out and we look for traits, and then you got to figure out how those traits fit. So it's the communication, it's the way we do things that give us an opportunity to figure out the right value and the right players that fit us from the way that he's described it and what we're looking for.
And then for Brian, obviously you're the head coach, but also your offensive play caller. How tough do you think it'll be to sit through a draft where maybe you guys take a lot of defensive players?
Not hard at all. You know, we want to win. We have high standards here. We want to find the best players that fit the Dallas Cowboys, and if they're defensive players, great. You know, we know there's areas that we need to address on that side of the ball. If they're offensive players, great. We just want to make sure we're getting the right person, the right type of player that plays to our scheme. I think, adding to your question about Christian, he's very clear about how he wants to play, and I'm looking forward to it.
Nick Harris, Forward Star Telegram for anybody, really. Having these two first-rounders is obviously a luxury. If you guys were to move around in the first round, how important it is to you guys to make sure that you're still picking twice in those top 32 picks?
I don't think there's a set thing that, hey, we got to have those picks in the top 32. You know, there's scenarios where you could end up with additional picks and still have 2 picks in the top 32, which could be a huge plus, or there could be a situation where we want to go get a player, and we think it's
building the plane, baby.
It may push that second pick down a little further than top 32, but at the end of the day, we'll measure all that and see what players are going to be available and what we think the chances are that we come out of it with, you know, the type of players that we're looking for to make this team better this year.
And obviously this is a lot of influence that Christian Parker is going to have here throughout the entire process, but specifically tomorrow night. You guys have kind of been asked this before, but this is his first time really going through this process. Where does the trust come from to be able to understand that his evaluations could be correct tomorrow night?
Well, I'll start that. It's been very beneficial. We've spent extra time going through the philosophical approach, what he's trying to get done on defense. Shotty's been outstanding pulling that out of these defensive coaches so that the scouts and everyone get a very clear, and couldn't do this truly, of what you're trying to accomplish. Where can we not have all pro players but get by with lesser players in the philosophy of the defense? And so it was very educational about at least the promise or the perspectiveness of what we're trying to get to on defense. Obviously, when you draft a player, you'd like for him to be able to play in any defense, on any system. And ideally, that's what you want, because it can change. It can change during the season sometimes. So the bottom line is that it does let you get a good idea of where you're trying to go with the perfect set of circumstances, the best players for it. But you got to realize you can draft them, and they get hurt the first day, and you not have them all year.
That's that old school
football.
TV with the
And
big back.
So my point is, you
I got a
weigh all
BBL
of that
TV on the
because,
screen.
oh my God! You can't make that the beginning all end all, or if you do, you at least need to be aware of it. So, yeah, it's been very, very good, and we've had our offensive coordinator in there that with the defense leading the way, but the offensive coordinator, and I more often than not will reach over and say, "Now, Shotty, you hear what he wants to do. How would you line up and beat that when if you were playing him and he was your defensive coordinator? How do you beat that with what we've got?" And Shotty said, real simple, I'd run right at his, you know what, I'd go right at him hard, and whatever that question was. But it's a process.
Jerry.
It's really a process of trying to see how adjustments are made when you don't have it set up perfect out there personnel-wise. And then that helps you understand the importance of a player as opposed to getting two players rather than one player. That'll help you trade down.
And, Nick, if I could add one thing to that, the other thing that helps is having expert personnel guys that Will's put together on his staff. Mitch LaPointe, Chris Vaughn, Ross, Clint. I mean, the group that he has assembled, they understand. So when we teach and we educate and we try to tell them what we're looking for, we're not far off. It's just kind of filling in the blanks in some areas. But kudos to Will, these guys, for the staff that they've put together on the personnel side.
Tommy Arsh, DallasCowboys.com. For anybody, does this specific draft class feel like one where maybe positional value years past is not as imminent as it has been before? And if so, how does that affect your thinking of what happens in front of you and your own?
Jerry did forgot the question.
I think your positional value and what your standards are your standards, and you keep those standards the same. So by saying that, it's like a first-round player is a first-round player, and that's why we feel like if we have that standard and we do it every year, then we have apples to apples comparisons of players. So we're not moving X amount up for this position or that position. If you do it standard and consistent, now you have a consistent process that gives you the ability to evaluate the players on the same level every year. So you're not changing and jumping around.
And then again, for anybody, with more of the top college offenses moving to quicker, fast-paced RPO styles, does that change any way that you evaluate defensive players maybe in the secondary who have maybe less time to react to routes or things like that?
Yeah, it's all a part of understanding. You got to understand what you're looking at, and then you got to understand what you're putting it into. And so that's the process of being with the coaches, understanding what they're doing, then understanding the schemes and marrying that together, and then seeing how the abilities that the player has matches with what you do.
I will say this, the guys get into it all the time. Sometimes you do have to project. I mean, these offensive linemen, you'll see some never get in a three-point stance. I mean, they're on two the whole time, and I think Steele was that way at Tech. So you got to project, what that's going to be like. And if you're projecting, then you take a little air out of that player because you are projecting, and there is risk that he will be able to ultimately project into what you need him to be. But he may have all the traits and the skill sets to do it. You just hadn't seen it done on tape in college.
And an interesting one, just another example, is to your point about college football. They run 78. I watched a game during the process where they ran 99 plays. The defensive guy was in for 85 of those plays.
Terrence Steele was undrafted, by the way.
That you watch the end of it and you say he's lazy, but if you go through the context and understand what and the why, then you get a fuller perspective on the player.
Which player was that?
Todd Archer.
Not a good player.
No,
not a good player.
Yeah. He's not. It's not that he doesn't want it. He just measures himself when he's out there.
God,
Now, so the cocaine's happening. When does that crack come into
history or that has some concerns there? What is the philosophy and approach to players with injuries or an injury history this year? Has that changed with you, Shotty?
No, I think, at the end of the day, when we go out there, Jane, we're trying to get the best football players, one. We do an incredible job, Jim Maurer, the training staff, of looking at all these guys. There's different grades that we look at. But we're looking for players that can come in and help us win now. That doesn't mean they have to be ready to go for the start of the offseason program or when they get here. But we want guys that can come in and contribute to our football team and help us build on some of the great things we did last year.
Availability bit us good last year. We made some plans for some corners that didn't play. We made some plans for whether it be draft pick or otherwise. We projected that did such things as saying they ought to be ready to go by the 6th game or the 5th game. And this year, with the nature of what we're trying to do defensively, red shirts, guys that may not get out there until the latter part of the year or playoffs, or if, for that matter, really in their stride, they've been pushed back in my thinking.
One more follow-up. I know you love the adrenaline. You've got 2 picks in the first round. Draft is moving a little quicker this year. Do you guys like that?
Sure. I mean, I think we're very prepared for it. I think it's the right thing to do. We went over it in the competition committee thoroughly, and it's plenty of time to do what you need to do, whether you're going to make a trade. There's a lot of, as you all well know, just sitting there. Just make sure that phone doesn't ring one more time and give us an opportunity we may want to take. But 8 minutes is plenty of time. And I think it'll be, great for the fans
right.
that they don't have to sit around and, wait. And so I think it's a positive thing and certainly won't affect us in the least.
Brad Sham, Cowboys Radio 105.3.
Brad Sham.
And Will, how important do you think it is to draft on Friday?
Well, we have a pick on Friday now.
One right now.
And, and the thought process is it'd be great to have 2, if not more. But
come on, keep talking.
That's certainly something we're looking at. I think it was important to get a pick on Friday. I think there's some really good football players in that range. That could really be productive for our football team, and but at the same time we'll measure it all. But moving up to get the quality gives you a lesser chance, to have more picks on Friday. So all that'll be measured, Brad, in terms of what we ultimately decide to do, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it's as it comes out, we'll figure it out. That's
what she said.
Do you view that 3rd round pick that you got as we can't go all those picks on Friday and not pick anybody, or if we need to give that 3rd pick up to do something else, then we'll have to live with that?
I think my leanings would be more toward having a pick on Friday, but at the same time, if it's the perfect situation and that turns out not to be the case, then we made a decision that it was in our best interest to not have the pick and maybe have, in our opinion, a much better football player that fit for us, that was going to make us a much better football team next year.
Stop the cap.
Suck. Too much of a Captain Obvious question, Stephen, but in 2008, you all had 2 firsts, and you set a record for trades during the draft. Is there something about having 2 firsts that makes it that way, where there's a lot more of that possibility going on? And if so, what do you think makes that happen?
No, I think, in the first round is where a tremendous amount of the draft value is in terms of how people value their draft charts. And so when you got an extra one, then that's even more value that you have in this particular draft that enables you to do more. And especially if you move those picks back, then you ultimately end up having more picks, and then those picks are subject to trade and on and on and on. Now, going up obviously shrinks that in terms of the value because it's expensive to move up in the first round. And it takes a lot of your later picks to make those
draft
moves.
Capital. Yeah.
Brian, I think it was the owners' meetings, you talked about how much more comfortable you were in year 2 as a head coach going into the draft. Now that process is just about complete, the draft prep, how do you kind of look at how much more comfortable you were in year 2?
Yeah, sitting in the meeting, Skylar, is just, you had a much greater feel for different players and how you can compare a nickel safety from a nickel corner and things like that, and the value that they would add to the football team. Just a lot of late nights with these guys getting comfortable in the beginning, and then now that we've kind of gotten through the draft process, watching more film on my own and just bringing in different coaches to talk about things that we might be looking for. I feel much more
HBU
prepared,
me now,
and,
y'all.
We'll have probably more conviction than some of the positions last year. Where
I got to
maybe was a
pay
little
for
bit
this new
less,
TV set.
Comfortable of exactly this player or that.
Joe.
Joe Hoyt, Dallas Morning News. Jerry, you guys have been known as a draft and develop franchise. Over the last 3 years, you had 3 different defensive schemes.
Here's our President Clinton coming through the door out here. He's coming up here to say hello to us.
Man, what?
But go
Shut
for
up!
the question in here.
Literally.
Oh, yeah, President Bill Clinton. Yeah, God dog.
Yeah, well, on that note.
Good question.
Let's hurry it up.
Yeah, we've been known as a draft and develop franchise.
Keep the president away.
3 different defensive schemes over the last 3 years, though. And you've traded guys you drafted and developed like Mike and Osa. Long question short, how has your draft and develop philosophy maybe evolved over the last years, and how does that translate to something like this year?
I think you're influenced by, I am.
Hey,
look at this right here. Come in this house.
What?
Yes, sir, Mr. President.
I'm negotiating a draft.
Now this big time.
I've
Hello.
always wanted to be whatever.
Whoa, they falling over there? What's going on?
My draft, he moved up in the draft today. His draft grade got better.
Oh my gosh, what is going on here? This is total pandemonium.
But let me tell you something. As a way of, this guy was recently named the 2nd most American to have started with very little and have accomplished a lot. Look at it, it's in Forbes. There's a great story about him in Forbes. But he's been a wonderful, not only president, but a friend over the years, and really happy to have you today.
Thank you. I'm glad to see you. Have a good draft.
This group, Mr. President, this group is somebody.
What is going on?
We share, we really do. They've spent their life and elected to spend their life in sport. And that's why they're here. And they could have been doctors or lawyers, but they want to be in sport. And so when they kick my you-know-what, and they do, I say, guys, we're actually cousins because we both elected to spend our years in sports around here. So be a little sweeter, if you will. And that goes there. But it's a great bunch of folks. They do a great job, and they're a big part of what sports and NFL is about. And this unquestionably will be the largest press conference going on in the NFL
Hey,
today.
bro, come on now, y'all.
Come
on, man.
Questions for you, right?
Oh, yeah.
Jerry!
Dream is someday to have a press conference, and nobody will come, and they'll come on and ask questions because everything will be perfect.
What's your point? What's your point?
Well, he's quite a basketball fan, but I've got to tell this story. This would be only viewed through my eyes. But we
another
won the
story?
Super Bowl, and we were invited by President Clinton to come to the White House. And when I said hello to him on a personal basis, he listed 3 deep every player with him standing like this on the Arkansas Razorback National Championship team. He was a young guy that was following the Hogs feverishly, mainly over the radio. But he sat there unprepared and gave me the team 3 deep when we were there that day. So he's a good man to have as a fan.
Hey.
Well, you know,
the last time we won a Super Bowl, he was the president.
Well, I was a guard. I was a pulling guard.
and how much did you weigh?
About 185 pounds.
And a couple of years before him, we had a guard named Wayne Harris who weighed the same thing Jerry did, and he made first team All-America. I mean, they were great guards, and it's a different world now.
Well, it certainly is. Well, I'd hate to.
185 damn guard is crazy.
Yeah, you'd be the late Jerry Jones.
Hey! Hey, Bill. Hey, Bill Clinton.
Nobody coming to see you, Otis. I'm glad he's here. Aren't you guys? All right. Thank you.
What's your point? What's your point? Okay, so what?
Oh, my gosh. All right, now.
Do you have anything else, Jeff?
I'll go back. Important question. Yeah, great question, right? Steven, how was your guys' draft and develop strategy as a franchise maybe been influenced by the fact of 3 different defensive coordinator changes and maybe the instant impact that you going into this year?
Well, it certainly does affect it to some degree. Obviously, Osa, certainly one of those. I mean, Osa's one of the finest men we've had through these doors, and very difficult decision to make at the end of the day, but it was a matter of resources and to some degree fit based on what we're trying to accomplish there with our defensive tackles. So it certainly can affect it long term. You still have to be totally committed to it this day and age with a salary cap. The draft capital is so important to make it all come together in a cohesive way because you just can't make a living in free agency, paying premiums for players, and to be able to draft the players that you ultimately feel you can develop in systems, whether it's the offensive system, the defensive system, how it relates to special teams is critical. And so it's certainly not ideal to have the number of defensive coordinators we've had as of late, but I feel good about where we're headed, and hopefully we can stop that run of, having to change out these coordinators. The only thing that make me happy is us go win a Super Bowl and someone's trying to hire Christian as a head coach. We take that one and go from there. And I think Coach Schottenheimer and Christian have done a good job, which if that does happen, we've got guys on the staff who could step up and keep the same type of system. If we were to have the success we think we can have, can keep that system in place, and we can continue to draft those type of fits for that system.
Will, you mentioned BrainWorks is something that Christian Parker taught you in this process. How did you guys and staff go about specifically trying to evaluate that with players and trying to kind of get into
That's where
it's not that we
that's where Bill and Jerry gone, man.
It's something that we always look at. It's what's their football instincts and this and that, but just understanding spacing and the way that he sees their brain working and how it works within the confines of what he's trying to do, getting familiar with that and understanding what it is, using the outside resources that we also have to talk about how well they see things, how well they think, to help us figure out how well their brain works, because they got to make a lot of decisions very quickly in this game and do it athletically, so the brain has to work as well as the body.
Brian, how many times has the president walked in on a pre-draft news conference?
That would definitely be a first. Now, Roger Staubach came through last year. You guys remember that? That was pretty cool.
Shout out to you, Chris.
Well, Sadis of The Athletic, just with the transfer portal being such a big factor now in college football, just how much has that changed the evaluation process? How many people you have to talk to do homework on a player throughout the process?
Yeah, it's changed. I mean, just there's evolution, so it's changed. So you got to change your approaches. We want to keep the same principles, but we got to talk to 3 or 4 different people from different schools. There's 24, 25, 26-year-old guys coming out now. That's different than what we've done, been doing in the past. So you've got to evolve with it. Our guys go and they dig, and we do cross checks. We Zoom calls, everything that we can to find out as much as we can about the guys, and that's truly that's a huge part of what we do. Anybody can evaluate. You guys can look at the tape on TV and have your opinion of what they can do, but it's also the people and understanding who and what they are is the biggest part of it.
Are you still getting the kind of detailed responses from coaches when they knew a player for 3-4 years as opposed to only knowing him for like a year or 2 years?
No, you've got to piece it all together, because typically when you leave one spot and go to another, nowadays it's changed for money, but then there's also sour grapes that you get from one spot because they left. What's true? What's not true? Who is the kid? Those are all things that we try and dig based on all the information we're getting, and then putting our emphasis on who we think the guy is based off what we've been given.
Garrett.
Garrett Podell, CBS Sports. Stephen, how are negotiations with George Pickens going, and how does that impact your approach to the draft?
Yeah, I think we've made a decision that we're going to have George play under the franchise tag, which won't be a first for us. So there won't be negotiations on a long-term deal. But that's certainly not a first for this organization, and certainly won't be a first in the league in terms of this decision as we move forward. But whether it's Dak Prescott, who played under one and got tagged a second time, whether it's D-Law, whether it's Tony Pollard, we've certainly had those situations. We're so fired up to have George on this football team, and obviously he's been here for a year.
Nope.
We gave up a third-round pick for him, and certainly he's made tremendous progress in the year that he's been here. I think he'd be the first to tell you that this is a great situation for him, playing with CD and Dak and in Coach Schottenheimer's offense. I think he loves Coach Schottenheimer and what he brings to the table, but certainly a conscious decision that we've made.
And Brian, knowing of players coming into a year on the franchise tag with that lack of security, how does that affect, you as the offensive play caller and touches and things of that nature, given the business side?
I don't worry about that. I mean, it's like Steven said, there's different scenarios that these guys play under. They love the football game, the game of football. George is no different. We're thrilled that George is here, and we expect him to have another great year. And he's a huge part of the success that we had last year, and that's not going to change.
Okay. Stephen, can you elaborate on the reasons why you made that decision, came to the decision of having played on the franchise tag and not negotiate? Is it because of the market? What are those?
There's a lot of things that go into that clearance. Went into whether it's a Tony Pollard, whether it's a DeMarcus Lawrence.
They didn't work.
Let's start with the fact it's not easy. Having two receivers being paid top of the market. I mean, that's obviously a stretch, especially when you have other great players on your team. A quarterback that's been here, being the highest paid player in this league for many years now. Certainly, that's part of it. The other thing is the newness of George being here. And I think George has just done an amazing job. I mean, he's exceeded all expectations. I think anybody, or we wouldn't have gotten him for a third-round pick. So that's a plus. And, a lot of these things, they make their way toward a long-term deal. But that's the biggest part of it, between the business and the newness of it. I think that's a big part of it.
It's safe to assume you've informed him and his representatives that you're playing on this tag and that don't worry about next year?
Yes, he's aware. And so is Mulligetta.
What was their reaction?
I don't think that's productive to get into details of what the conference. If they want to tell you, they can tell you. You can ask them.
Assurance it'll be here for the offseason.
No assurances. I mean, just like there's no assurances on other players. I mean, everybody. That's why it's the off season and it's voluntary. It just turns out that we've been very fortunate over the years that people love to make their homes here in Dallas, and for the most part, we have great attendance at our voluntary on our voluntary programs. But no, we have no assurances of that.
Shotty had asked Micah last year to come for the first day. Have you done the same with George?
I will. I have not. Yeah. We're starting obviously on Monday, but had great conversation with George, and again, I look forward to him kicking ass this year.
I think he might share with him what you shared with me on his workouts. He's been working out.
Yeah. Throwing with Dak. He loves it here, and you guys get a chance to talk to him, obviously. But I think we're thrilled with what he did. We're looking forward to another great year. What was really cool for me in our conversations with him was him talking about taking the next step as a leader. And the influence that he has on this locker room is very powerful because he loves playing football so much, and that's what we love about George. And so, but I will reach out and talk to him. But again, it's all voluntary. And
how did that work with Parsons?
We'll be in and out for different reasons.
Steve, how does that decision influence the way you might view the availability of a receiver that you like in the draft?
I mean, that's all part of a global picture. Obviously,
they drafted a wide receiver, man.
Certainly, you're always looking at that. I mean, it's just like we did when we took C.D. Lamb. We had some really good receivers on this team, but we took him. And certainly, be no different as we look at the board and, our number gets called to pick, and we'll make that decision at that point. But we're certainly not opposed to taking the best player on our board. I mean, that's usually where we've had our most success, is doing that. As Jerry said, we were all set to go defense, and in that particular draft, and C.D. Lamb was sitting there, and that's the guy we went with, and it's turned out to be a great selection for us.
George hasn't signed the tender yet. Is that the case? He hasn't signed, right?
He haven't signed.
I mean, for when it becomes, mini camp and they're supposed to be here, but he's not under contract. So
He's not under contract.
Man, come on, Cowboys.
Or do you have any idea?
That's up to George and David in terms of the decision they ultimately
They're
make.
not going to play on that franchise tag, bro.
Stephen, when was the last time you actually did talk?
Don't paint that kid to be a bad guy, though.
Me personally, it's been a minute. Now, Jerry and Shotty had a meeting with him as of late.
Characterize that one, Shotty.
It was good. The thing that George knows about Jerry and myself is we're very upfront.
We need
we're
Jerry
honest.
up here.
We had great conversation. We informed him. We think that that's important because that's the way we handle all of our players and coaches. We're upfront and we're honest.
And then Jerry and I had a call with David last week.
In a hypothetical situation, let's say someone like Jordan Tyson is there, do you pick up the phone and call George and give him a heads up before you do it, or how does that look in order to make sure that everybody is copacetic?
Well, we don't want to get into the weeds like that today. I mean, obviously, as we get ready for this draft, we'll have a lot of options, and we'll obviously address those type of situations if they happen to come about. And certainly we go over all our contingencies and how we would handle something or what we would do, but to get into the detail of that, I don't think is productive today.
You said that you and Jerry had a call with David last week. Is that the first time you guys have talked to David? I mean, this has been a storyline for last year. And how did that go?
No, it went real well. Super cordial. Obviously, he can speak to it as well in terms of what his view of it was, but it was very cordial, and we call went on for 5-10 minutes, and it was very productive, I thought.
And that concludes the GP portion of the pre-draft press conference. So let's move on. Sydney
Staples,
PR just had to step. They had PR to step in.
Heading into your second draft as coach.
Excited. I love this time of year. I love rolling up our sleeves with these guys and sitting in meetings and talking players and watching video and getting into the background of where these guys are from and what motivates them. And I think this is a really cool draft class. The pro days were really fun for me and Will to get out on the road with a couple of the guys and, be around them and, really get a chance to feel their influence. Obviously, the character connection piece for us is important. And a lot of the guys that we saw at the multiple schools we went to, they would fit in great and look great in a Cowboys uniform.
Is this different than last year in ways for you, if at all?
I just feel like I know the players even better than I did last year. And again, that goes to Will and his staff and the conversations that we've had with Stephen and Jerry. And, it's something that I think we're set up to have a great draft.
Kyle
Yeomans, Cowboys TV. This one's for Stephen and Will. With such a long break, assuming you don't make a move to get a second round or a third round pick, going from 20 to 92 is quite the wait. How do you handle that time in the war room, and what kind of conversations are going on as those picks continue to fly off?
Eat a lot of cookies and chips.
No, I just think we've had these situations before where you've got some, long periods of time before you pick, and certainly you're paying attention to what everybody's doing, and you're watching your board, you're strategizing a certain positions, certain players go off, and just making sure there's not something there that might make sense for us to get back into the fray. You can always do that with future picks. Personally, I think in general we like to stay away from future picks if we can, and then just make sure there's not the right situation for us to jump in. If not, you're just continuing to evaluate your board as players come off of it.
Is it players specifically that could be that blinking light that would maybe trigger an opportunity there? Or
Sure.
What are some of the
if you've got a player up there that's really high, then that might tempt you maybe to say, hey, this guy's still sitting up there, and you're getting toward the bottom of the second, you think he's a first-round type player, then all of a sudden you start hitting, should we consider something here to go get this guy? And that's why you have to be on top of your game and, seeing if there might be an opportunity there that would make sense. But in general, I would say we philosophically like to stay away from giving away future picks.
Pat.
Pat Doney, NBC DFW. Brian, you were talking about your more conviction this year. You've also spoken previously about trying to build the best culture in pro sports here. How much of that conviction in the room is going to be for character off the field as well, and trying to make sure guys fit what you're trying to build inside the locker room beyond just being a great player?
Yeah, I think, again, what the scouts do an incredible job of is the player's the player. We could put on the film right now, watch the player, and you'll see they run fast, they change direction well, they tackle well, they blitz good, whatever it is. But the scouts do an incredible job of they dive in deep on these guys and the type of young men they are, where their background comes from, what motivates them, what do they like to do. And I think, we want guys that believe in a brotherhood and connection, and they love football. All those things are really important to us. Does it mean that every one of them is going to be a choir boy? No. We like guys that play violent. I mean, you guys know we like to draft people that have turtles, in the first round. We did it last year. And but it's again, you feel good because I feel like the scouts have set the table where we don't have a chance to get out as coaches and get to the school and see these guys as much as the scouts do. So they really paint a picture for us, very, very bright, clear picture that tells us what we're getting in that individual.
And then for Stephen and Will, a couple of days ago, John Lynch mentioned that NFL teams that are not using AI are falling behind in the draft process. I was curious what that looks like for you all, and then how, if you are using it, how it's changed your process.
I was prepared for that question because I used AI, and it told me what you were going to ask.
Well said.
AI isn't a part of all that we do. It's AI. If you throw a bunch of stuff in it,
look at my African American over
is not what you're looking for. Yeah, it just tell you anything. But it's how you use it, and we're using it in a way to help us get better at what we do.
Absolutely. I'd be shocked if not every team's using some form of it, and it's certainly very interesting tool that can really be of help and can do a lot of things that would normally take a lot of man hours to be searching, whether it's your mock drafts and they go in and do all the homework. And obviously you guys probably have a better feel for what the Cowboys are going to do than a media person in San Francisco or a media person in Chicago. So, it's just amazing what these things can do. Obviously, John Park's a big part of our draft, and they're very familiar with it and the tools. And then you have to also count on really young people like my son and Cabo and Paxton. It's amazing what they know about AI. They're way ahead of me in terms of me keeping up with the things that are going on out there. But certainly the information you get can really be a great tool to help us.
John.
Jonah Javad, Ultimate Dallas Sports Show, WFAA. There's been some sort of, evaluators seem to think this is a down draft, or at least a little bit more top-heavy than years past. Curious if you've seen similar through scouting or your evaluation, and with that, does it lend yourself to want to trade up a little bit?
Every draft is different. There are players that are littered all throughout the draft. The quality of talent level, the reason why it's not said because there's not 10 quarterbacks or whatever it is, like there's a public perception of what the value of a draft is. There's good players throughout the draft. I will say that this draft is probably second to fourth round heavy, fifth round heavy, something like that. But there's not that top flight level talent, but there's good football players all throughout the draft.
And a totally unrelated follow-up with President Clinton making his way through here. I'm curious, you three have spent a lot of days in this building. Who's the most famous person that you've seen come through these halls?
You may have just walked through the door, President Clinton.
I was going to say Jerry. Yeah. Will?
Bill Clinton.
Can I ask a Pickens question?
Will McClay look just like Tyler Perry, man.
Ask the question.
Okay, I'm just making sure. And if you talk about the evolution of the offense, Brian, if he's not here for the offseason program, does that kind of hinder what you guys are wanting to implement in camp too?
We won't let it. Dak Prescott won't let it. Dak Prescott and the leadership of all these guys, including George, they want to be great. They know our goals. They know where we're going. The work will get done.
And then you guys have done a lot of drafts together over the course of the last decade. There's been some great moments. There's been some lessons learned along the way. During this pre-draft process, has there been any lesson that has kind of popped back in your mind more often than usual?
Several do. I mean, we go back in history and think about how we've done things and why we've done things and how they've turned out. So that's all a part of the process. Just like I talked about building the draft board. You learn from your previous mistakes. You learn from the good things that you did, and you continue to improve what you're doing. The conditions change. Like we're just talking about the draft and everybody, NIL and all that. It changes. You just have to have a process and be convicted in that process and use it the right way.
James.
One more George Pickens one. Given your conversation, do you have any reason to believe that he wouldn't be here? He does seem like he's fairly bought in despite the contract.
I expect that he'll be around. I really do. And, the one thing that I love about George is George likes honesty. And that's who we are. And that's not just because his name is George Pickens and he's a great player. We do that to undrafted free agents. And that gives you the best chance to make sure you're all on the same page.
Kevin.
Stephen, Kevin Sherrington, Dallas Morning News. If you can't trade up, can you still get an impact player on defense at 12?
I mean, that remains to be seen. I wish I had a crystal ball, but if we get an impact offensive player that's special, then that's great too. And I think we'll look at all our options at that point, but I do think that remains to be seen. I can't necessarily say, oh, yeah, for sure there's going to be one there.
So you're not going to push it there at 12?
No.
And I know you said you don't like to trade future draft picks, but considering the fact that you would expect to be better next year, right, that maybe trading next year's picks would be more attractive than trading this year's to go up?
Well, I would always, it's what I said. I mean, every situation's different. The preference is not to, but if the right situation's there, then we would certainly consider it.
We like Quinn Williams and George Pickens. We traded future picks for them.
Yes.
But you got to pay.
Last
Boy.
two, Clarence.
I'm glad I got two.
No, not
You
yours.
get one of
Todd.
them.
I
Already had seven.
don't know if we asked you, how many first-round picks do you have? You haven't really gave us that number yet.
There's going to at least be a dozen.
Yeah. Okay. So 12. Will don't want to say.
None of your business is what I want to say.
Okay.
Well, it's not over with yet.
You usually give us a number, though. So, Secretary Shotty, can you give us an update on the injured guys and where they are, and Ezraku and Bland? And
Yeah, they're all doing well. The cool thing, they've been around. They're working great. The big thing with a couple of those guys is slowing them down, making sure they don't take it too far. Yes, Donovan, I'm talking to you, Ezraku. He knows that, but no, they're all doing great. And
they're telling Donovan, slow down.
Again, what we're hoping is when we get out there to the offseason program, get going into OTAs, that they'll be able to do some of the things from a team standpoint, whether it's walkthroughs or whatever, Clarence. But we're going to be smart with all those guys because they're so important to us.
The other thing that's real important is they're here, and they're working with Britt and Jim, and they're totally focused on getting back. And as early as possible. Now, you always have the unexpected setback, but right now we feel really good about the majority of our players, if not every one of them, being ready for camp.
And Todd.
I see last year after you went in thinking maybe you get a receiver early and it didn't, then you made the trade for George. Do you have those conversations with teams now of if you don't get X position, we would be interested in maybe doing something with you guys here?
We're talking currently to teams about players, veteran players, that could certainly help us, in situations that we weren't able to necessarily get accomplished in free agency. I think we did a lot to improve our football team, but we didn't check every box. And, obviously we have quite a few needs, and we didn't check every box, but we'll certainly continue to have those. I always say it, player acquisition's not going to be over after the draft either.
365.
That's how we got George Pickens. So we'll continue to look for ways to improve our football team. Obviously, this is a huge part of it coming up with this draft, and we certainly want to, make this happen in a great way, for the future of our football team this year. But it certainly won't be over. When we sign that last college free agent, we'll still be looking for ways to help this football team.
Okay, we got to go. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Man, oh man, I got some thoughts that I'm thinking right here. Lord have mercy, man. I got some thoughts over here, man. Oh my goodness, man. It's look how he got his arms folded, that shows that they're mad about, he's mad about something, you know what I'm saying? Oh my gosh, man. The Cowboys. If you're gonna use, and shout out to Tyler Perry, that got to be Tyler Perry doppelganger. You know what I'm saying? If y'all call me James Harden and all of them, hey, I'm gonna start this. This got to be, they got to be his guy right here. You know what I'm saying? It got to be, man. It got to be, man. Let me put this side by side. I got to do this right quick. Hold on. Yeah, I know. Yeah, which one is Will McClay, man? These twins right here. They got to be twins. They got to be twins. Hey, Tyler McClay. You know what I'm saying? Them boys doppelgangers, man. Let me know if I'm wrong. But with that being said, hey, congratulate my guy Will McClay on all of the movies and everything. But when we start to think about this, the Cowboys operating off of that franchise tag, I get it. $28 million. You can't prorate that money. You can't spread that money out. It is a hard cap hit. The Cowboys technically is using a payday loan to pay for their players. Let me say this again. The Cowboys are using a payday loan to pay for their players, and that's what the franchise tag is doing. I get it. Somebody said that Clarence Hill said that, shout out to my guy Clarence, that George Pickens will play under the franchise tag. He will play. They practicing all of this. I get all of that. But they only had a 4 to 5 minute conversation with David Mulugeta. And most of Will Medea is crazy. Will Medea is crazy. But to be fair to all of this, ladies and gentlemen, he may advise his player, hey, $28 million guaranteed is good money. I get all of that. What happens if X, Y, and Z factors in? That is where we're up against, right? But I hope that it's a smoke screen. I hope that, it's a situation in a scenario that we can get things going. Hey, them boys just look just alike, boy. Don't they? But how y'all feeling about all of this? Because this threw me for a loop. Especially when the Cowboys announced what they announced. The tag is a negotiation tool. Got to also put leverage on the players and the agent. And I know, I get the negotiation aspect of it. Here's the other part of it. He didn't sign it yet. When you don't sign a contract, that's a telltale sign that things are not where you want them to be. Let me say this loud enough for those who are way in the back. When you don't sign a $28 million contract, that means that somewhere down the line, you are not satisfied with that particular agreement. You're not happy. Now, if I talk to you, stay paid, I play parlay, if I say Queso or Dan Solo, if I had a $28 million contract on the line for you all, man, y'all gonna break the pens or the pencil, whatever it may be, to go sign that contract. You're gonna be going in there blindly saying, hey man, $28 million, I'll bet on myself, I'll sign the dotted line, you know. But if you got to be able to also read the room. Now, optimistically speaking, hopefully in all of the hopium, I can tell y'all, yes, Pickens going to sign this deal. He's going to play on the franchise tag, and he's going to do unbelievable things for the 2026 season. He's going to break and shatter whatever wide receiver record it is. He's going to go in there happy-go-lucky, but there are things that I'm going to tell you guys. $28 million for us common folks is everything. But $28 million with the opportunity to make $120 million is a different situation and scenario. The NFL stands for not for long, and the Cowboys don't have that longitude and latitude as it relates to positive rapport with everybody because they just had a deal with Osa. Didn't Osa just sign a $90 million contract? Where is he now? Where's his love and loyalty at now? They don't have a good track record for loyalty, you know? So that's what I'm saying. Granted, on the flip side, yes, you can sign a player and they can hurt something under a long-term contract. I get all of that. That's the nature of doing business. Right? That's why we get, even in life, we get life insurance. Hell, I can get hit by a bus just by checking my mailbox, right? That's life. But at the end of the day, what the Cowboys are going to do, you see, Jose says, Osa is trash, though. You know what I'm saying? There are Cowboy fans that literally all I have to do is pull up my same comment box, turn to the Detroit game, and there are people literally calling George Pickens trash, right? There are literally people saying that George Pickens ain't worth the grain of salt. Because it's easy for us to talk and call upon players trash, and they wash, and they can't do this, and they can't do that when they're not performing. Y'all think that these players are machines. So therefore, if I'm a football player, no, I'm not signing that particular contract. Because there's multitudes of people that said, hey, Tony Pollard, trash. Dalton Schultz, trash. DeMarcus Lawrence was trash. Shout out to my guy Bubba Dub, you know. There's plenty of Cowboy people that say that these guys are trash. Then they go to another program, they lift up that Lombardi trophy, and then there's the same people that say we should have kept them. Which one is it? So at the end of the day, the Cowboys are doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. Don't you know that $28 million, if you prorate that money, that's the equivalency of at least 2 to 3 starters on your team. Don't you know when we franchise tag DeMarcus Lawrence, when we franchise tagged him Twine, after he done performed after that first contract, that same guy, Stephen Jones, said, yeah, he good. Yeah, he okay. But he ain't, what's the guy that got signed with the damn Bears? Went from the Raiders to the Bears. I forgot his name at the tip of my tongue. He ain't him. You know, we do the comparisons and the analysis on the same on the players on our team, and we compare them over to another player team. I forgot the name of the guy. Y'all remember him. He signed an unbelievable contract. Got traded from the Raiders to the Bears, tip of my tongue. Now he's playing for the Chargers. He's out on the street. We do that all the time. We got to stop that, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, Khalil Mack. Yeah, thank you so much. Stephen Jones said, yeah. But he was our version of Khalil Mack. When it was time for CD to get paid, a third of you guys said, hey, man, he ain't no Jay Jetter. Man, we shouldn't pay that man that money. But he's our Jay Jetter, you know? So we are doing the same thing over and over again. You can't prorate that money. You can't spread it out. I'm not complaining. But a birdie told me. This is what a bird told me, you know. You could take it and run with it. David Mulugeta, see, he wasn't up there, and it may be good. This press conference would still be going on if Jerry Jones was still up there. He would have been talking about Nam and all of this other stuff, what happened in 1968 and all of this other stuff. David Mulugeta said, okay, if you're going to franchise tag my guy, week 3, week 4, that little bang up on that knee, hey, that's okay. You need to take a real good look at that knee. You might have to sit out 4 weeks. Oh, I'm still on the phone before we even have to go through this. Just because the Cowboys is not willing to pay that doesn't mean that Titans, Commanders, Chargers, Cardinals, Jets are not willing to pay for that. Now, the good problem with it is that the Cowboys do have a tender on there. You know, they do have that. But what the Cowboys going to do is tomorrow or in the third round, they going to try to sell it. They going to draft a wide receiver. They telegraph their moves. They don't make business decisions. With $15 million right now that we have in the folds, we can sign Pickens to a long-term contract to $40 million easily. You can prorate, stretch that money out. You can be done with it. But after Pickens play this season, if he do decide to play, and I hope he do, I hope that he comes in with the mindset of saying, yes, I'm willing to play. But he's still going to have his advisories in his ear saying, hey, that little toe injury that you got, that can develop into an ankle. That little ankle injury you got, that could snap your Achilles. That Achilles that you could have, that could hurt you down the stretch. You talking about another year, 2 years removed of trying to get back to your status quo. It'll be better to sit this one out. That's how these things go, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately. Oh, Ron, you live on the Nation, man. Talk to me.
All right, so I'm glad, right? I'm glad that we franchise tagged them. I don't understand why everybody mad about it. Like, I understand, like, yeah,
all right, because I heard from Mulugeta's people that he don't want his player to play on the franchise tag because of the injuries and for the unseeable things. That's too much of a risk. Now, there are players who play under the franchise tag. They're still trying to prove themselves, like the fact that what we've seen out of DeMarcus Lawrence, right? Like the fact that what we've seen out of, dare I say, Dak Prescott. But those guys play under different agencies. But go ahead.
Yeah, it's just like I said before, Lon. Like the NFL, they need to take that off because it's not fair to both sides, right? Because why is it there? You cannot franchise tag George Pickens, right? And that's when we gotta deal with all this stuff. And he don't want to risk injury so he won't get paid. Like, this whole thing is, to me, is stupid. I don't even think the franchise tag should be a thing. Because it doesn't make sense to me, Law. It don't. Because
it favors the owners heavily. It favors the owners heavily, right? And what it does is that George Pickens never seen $28 million all at once, right? They cut him a check for $28 million, and then they say, okay, you got all of this money at once. They plan on his pride, his ego, right? And then on top of that, you got to look at it like this. When you franchise tag someone, what the audience want for you to either play the same rate or better. If your numbers dissipate at any shape, form, or fashion, let's say, for example, Pickens plays under this franchise tag and he doesn't hit 1,300 yards, or if he doesn't get you 8 to 9 touchdowns, right? And let's say he puts up 800 yards, 4 touchdowns. He's not going to get that same offer that was available to him if he was hitting the open market. And now the Cowboys can either franchise tag him again or make him a smaller offer. Now, if Pickens go out there and blow up and ball out, that's cool. That's cool. I get that. But now you're pretty much gambling with a player and his future. And that is one of the things that a lot of people don't want to deal with, unfortunately, because there's a lot of pain in football. And a lot of times they don't know whether or not they want to go out there without guaranteed money for the foreseeable future. We only can look at it from our perspective of, man, that's $28 million. He shouldn't be that greedy. But they looking at it from the future aspect that they are Ron Shazier hit away. But go ahead.
Yeah, no, Lord, like,
Mhm.
all right, but look, can't you just be like, the franchise tag shouldn't be there because it's not fair for both parties. Because it's like how you just said.
Right.
He's thinking about, you know what I'm saying? He want a long extension. Then the franchise said when Jerry Jones side was like, we don't know if you're going to do this again. Let me see if you can do this one more. You get what I'm saying? Like, it should not be here. The franchise tag should be gone.
Yeah.
It literally should be. I don't think it's a good idea to keep this here. And once a organization use it, it's a problem.
Yeah.
Like, well, I don't understand. Like, I understand both sides.
Right.
But it should not be there. It's not fair to both sides. It's not.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's primarily more in favor for the Cowboys to put a tender and tag because they can't compete. When I say these names again, I'm not uplifting them. I'm just saying the logics. They can't compete against the Titans, Commanders, Chargers, and Cardinals because they got 63, 49, 45, and $40 million. The Jets, to a degree, got $39 million. So what David Mulugeta is looking at, he's looking at all of that money for his client. And by them being under the tag, he's letting his client know that this is missed opportunity. You know, there's always opportunity cost, right, in business. And the opportunity cost is available if they didn't tag him. So his job is to say, hey, you can get out there and ball, but what happens if you on a curve, if you balling week 4, week 5, and something happened? Will they still honor you, right? And the Cowboys don't have that track record that they will outside of Dak Prescott, by the way. But keep going.
All right, so let me ask you a question. Do you think this would be smart, right?
Uh-huh.
If Pickens have the year that we all think he's going to have, like a good year, right? Because I think Jerry Jones, he's not going to let him up. He's not. Me personally, I don't think Jerry Jones is that dumb to let him go or let him walk. You know what I'm saying? I think Jerry Jones is going to pay him. He's going to have to, right? So let me know if you think it's smart. George Pickens play how he played. You get rid of Kenny Clark. Put up cap space.
And close it too, by the way. Go ahead.
Then extend George Pickens.
Yeah.
Let me know. Do you think that's a smart move?
I think
Not this year, next year.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to answer that offline. But I appreciate you, man. Thank you for calling in, Chief. His phone was breaking up. I didn't want to put the sonic button on him. My thing is, and don't think that I'm talking negative because a lot of people say, let's just be optimistic. Let's be hopeful. Let's give us the hopium versions of this law. Yeah, the hopium version would be for Pickens to suit up, be his tail up there at practice, perform, and still develop that rapport with your quarterback. The quarterback should be said, hey, they franchise tagged me twice. I got my name ripped through the mud, but look what I'm getting now. I'm getting paid $250 million. I made it, right? They paid me after I snapped my ankle into 1,000 pieces. I would bat for you. The only way that this can go through, ladies and gentlemen, if George Pickens agree with that. But come tomorrow, if we hear this,
Please come home.
with the 20th pick of the NFL draft, the Cowboys select wide receiver Jordan Tyson, or if he falls to the 20th, or with the 12th pick of the NFL draft, the Cowboys select Carnell Tate. We got to understand the reason why DeMarcus Lawrence was franchise tagged twice is because Taco didn't really perform well enough for them to get rid of him. Remember, people gave me so much hate when I said the Cowboys draft to replace and not complement. If the Cowboys were drafting with the mindset, instead of trying to replace D-Law and add a big plug inside, we would have been a better defense. We didn't even address the damn interior. What happened in 2018? They was running through us like dog diarrhea because we were so busy fighting the fight of, hey, we need us a war daddy. Hey, we need us a war daddy. We were still, even in that particular situation, top heavy. We had no depths. Man, we had a guy that literally was 5'11", 310 pounds, Antoine Barbecue Woods, who's getting Peter rolled and moved out the way. Because the Cowboys didn't have depth pieces. Why? Because they franchise tagged DeMarcus Lawrence twine. You can't prorate that money. You can't spread it out. What do that money was doing for the Cowboys? It stopped the Cowboys, or it impeded the Cowboys from having 2 to 3 different other starters. We've been pretty much top heavy. So when you get to the postseason, teams that's top heavy, if you have one injury, if you have one incident, the other teams that built their teams right and properly run right through you. And so many people were so willing to blame the quarterback when we couldn't stop a nosebleed. So when y'all hit me with this, hey man, franchise tag ain't that bad. It is. It's a payday loan. It's a good tool to use for negotiating, but it's a terrible tool to use when you plan on it. It's the same thing. It happened in 2018. Because of that simple fact, you franchise tag your player twice. It happened in 2022, 2023, give or take. Because you couldn't prorate that money, you sitting here top heavy. If you couldn't find a linebacker, we still missing a linebacker. Don't y'all understand? If we had a legitimate linebacker in 2023, maybe, just maybe. But we had Marquise Bell, and I'm not beating up Marquise Bell, good kid. I know he has some situations, but he's still a good kid. But have you ever seen Marquise Bell? He had no reason being a linebacker. And now we going into this year. Oh, we think that because we move furniture around on the Titanic, it's going to float better. No. We still got a hole at linebacker. Let the AI speak.
At Samson RV $7,409 9.99. Pickens is basically on probation. Can't erase some character issues in the past.
Okay.
He will have to earn that trust for that big of an investment. CD will retire a Cowboy, so that's the problem.
You're right. You're right, man. I mean, he still have. I get it. Pickens is a saint according to Terrell Owens, right? If you were to compare those analysis, right? Pickens, believe it or not, got a better attitude, and I'm not trying to beat up my guy. I like AC, but he got a better attitude than Amari Cooper. Pickens is more talkable than Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper just wasn't talkable at all, right? Cut and dry. .304, you're live on the Nation, man. Hey, Lou, talk to me, man.
What's good? What's good, Law? What's shaking with you?
What's good, man? All is well, man. What you got for the show today?
Good.
Open topic, by the way.
Man, I saw that you started coming along to this Malachi Lawrence.
Oh yeah.
At
20.
Yeah.
At 20. Well, not straight up at 20, but I think
it's gonna be straight up at 20.
Oh man, they got enough real estate to trade back a little bit. And you just heard Stephen Jones say, we want more and more draft picks. You know, Jerry willing to move up, but Stephen said, hey, because you got to look at it like this. All draft picks are literally cheap labor, right? And we all know that the more draft picks you have, the more you can, like this fan base is so gullible that they would prefer to have the draft picks versus the known commodity. I'm hearing people say that, hey, Myles Garrett's no good, he's gonna be washed, right? A lot of people think that Jordan Brooks too old, for even to make that move. They would prefer the youth because of the labor costs, That's just how it goes.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree. I think that, like I said, I think we're if anything, for us to get any, I would say good return, we had to get rid of that 12. We got to trade back from that 12 to mid 15, 16, 18. You go back to 18, or even, hell, go back to 25. You get 20 and 25, then that's when you're really talking about some real compensation. Without that, if you're looking for a second, you go back to 25. If you're looking for a third, you only go back, a couple spots or a fourth. But I just hope honestly, me personally, I really want us to go ahead and draft that receiver at 12. If we have a receiver at 12, draft him and trade Pickens. Hey, he's a great player. I don't discount that or discredit that, but I'm going to stick to this, and I'm going to stick to this. Like I said yesterday, get over it. You know what I mean? Like, let's get over this whole BS. Stop playing this game. Stop. You need headlines going into the season. No, you don't. The headline should be your team.
Yeah.
Like the headline should be your coaches. Your headline should be what you got on the field. The headline should not be what's happening off of the field. Like that shouldn't matter.
And you know what? It's a known it's a known pattern too, because what happened is I don't like no one speaking for me, right? So, and I love the way even how Jane Slater broke it down, and I love the way Clarence circled back and said, well, he haven't signed it yet, right? So by them saying, yes, we have great conversations with his agent, and his agent is in good vibes or what have you, then the deal would have been signed, right? No, the agent is on the phone shopping him and saying that in lieu of what the Cowboys going to do on the first opening draft, if they go get a wide receiver, that's going to piss off his client. That's going to piss George Pickens off to a degree, because they want to use that as leverage. You get what I'm saying? Instead of just building a team, they're using it as leverage, unfortunately.
But this is the problem. And everybody wants GP. Everybody wants, the high-powered offense, and you can still have that.
Right.
Like you said, you can get cheap labor by drafting the receiver, or even really playing ball in free agency, which we never do. I don't care what the hell what people say. It just doesn't happen. For whatever reason, they think that free agency is where you overpay. No, free agency is where you build your team.
Right.
But you are consistently playing this game with GP. And when you're playing this game, you're taking away from what really matters, and that's the product you put on the field.
Right.
Go ahead, trade. If you're getting a second and a third, or second and a fourth, even if you get a first and a third, okay, great. But move on if you're not going to sign them. You know what you want to do by now.
Right.
Like these are billionaires that have made billion-dollar decisions. I think that they can come up with a solution in this point without sitting here hem-hawing and fiddle farting around and shit. Like it just annoys me that we're having this conversation at this point, when if a championship squad, shit, either we're gonna sign here. This is the contract. No, all right, cool. All right, Next thing you know, hey, come across the field, hey, such been traded, got a first round pick.
Yeah.
Hey, ask Bill Belichick. They didn't got rid of him because it's not unnecessary. It's about the product on the field.
Yeah.
But I like I said, I'm looking forward to seeing what we do at 12 and at 20. Malachi Lawrence is going to be the 20th pick. I wouldn't be surprised if we double dip and get Keldrick Falk. I'm telling you, they are in love with this man.
Right.
And I don't know. I get it. I don't understand it, but I understand it.
Yep. Yeah. but this is what's going to be advised. And the thing is, a lot of people look at GP as a YN, right? But then he opens his mouth, they see, okay, he can articulate himself. He's very cerebral, right? The best thing that Mulugeta Camp can do and Pickens is, when you get pulled over and they say you have the right to remain silent, that's what they're going to do, because he's going to go with a counter of saying, we don't have to say anything. We just going to let the Cowboys do what they do, is talking. And they're going to do a lot of talking, and they're going to bury themselves. They don't have to talk. Now, Parsons messed up by willing to get this deal early, and he went and talked to Jerry, right? They learn from their mistakes. Don't go talk to Jerry, because Jerry is old school. He's going to take your word as salt, right? So that's just for what it is.
But is it that bad? Is it that bad to be the man of your word? There's nothing wrong with saying, hey, this is not going to work, or hey, this works for me. And then saying, hey, you work for me, go get this deal done. This is what I want. There's nothing wrong with being a man of your word.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with that. Why have we lost that as a society? Hey, this is who I am. This is what I'm looking for. Handshake, eye contact, stand up like a man. Poke your fucking chest out. Just say it.
Yeah, just say it.
Get over it. Get over it.
Get over it, man.
We are so lost anyway. But I hate the whole YN concept.
Yeah. Or LN, YN, LN. OJ,
it's
all
terrible.
of it.
It's terrible. My God. Do you consider Aaron Rodgers a YN? Because he was doing the same shit he was doing at a young age. All the extra shit. He was always been on bullshit. So anyway, another story.
There's a whole other conversation. Yeah.
But 12 and 20. If we can trade back, it'll be a great deal. Malachi Lawrence will be at 20. I hope. I've seen a couple mocks that came out that said they wanted C.J. Allen at 20, and I hope and pray we don't go that route, because you can get solid linebackers. Hell, you can get solid safeties in the third and fourth rounds.
Right.
So it really depends on how you want to build your team. This will tell us a lot of what Christian Parker, his thought process comes about. If he's really about his DBs, or does he really go by what really built the team?
Right.
His team was built through the front seven first before he got the back end.
Right.
Pause. Before he got them players. He literally was built with Carter and both of them, all the Georgia boys.
No doubt, man. We'll see.
Gotta work.
Appreciate you, Lou. Thank you, from the
For
304.
sure.
Yes, indeed. And I get it, I mean, we can talk about this all day. But it's just for what it is. Perception always going to be that way, You're talking about a ski mask and, and you wearing that and it become popularized. What was it, the Pooh Shiesty? Didn't Pooh Shiesty get out and he put on the Pooh Shiesty mask? But it is for what it is, and he back in, right? Neither here nor there. Y'all know how it goes. It's just I ain't gonna take the show that way, but y'all know what I'm saying when I say what I say. All right, I got the next caller. Texas Wolf from the 757-210. Hold tight. Texas Wolf, my brother. You're live on the Nation. Talk to me, man.
How you doing there, Law Nation? How you doing, man?
Hey, all is well, man. Can't complain.
Well, sir, I was listening to all the other previous callers, and I'm just going to try and keep it brief. When it comes to the situation with the George Pickens deal, my thing is, I don't know if other Cowboy fans and yourself paid attention to this. with David Mulugeta, we all know he shoots to the biggest contracts for his players.
Right.
However, I don't think George Pickens outright said he want to be the highest paid dude in the league. Because most receivers we've seen, they post on their social media, talk about, I want to be the highest paid this, I want to be the highest paid that. George Pickens never once said that out the gate to social media or to the Cowboys.
Right.
And my thing is, if we really want to get George Pickens paid, maybe George should take the recommendation by the Joneses, just get you a new agent. Because it's like, George has probably been told by Dak Prescott and others, look, man, that guy Mulugeta, as great as he is, he does not have a good track record in Dallas. You're better off just getting a different agent who can get you a long-term deal so that way we can move on. Because what it is, your agent Mulugeta wants you to do all this stuff to piss off the Joneses. You, sir, don't probably want to do that at all.
Let me ask you this. Not to cut you, but you got David Cantor, you got Rocky Arsenal, you got Todd France, and you got David Mulugeta. What's the difference in those agencies?
Well, we were talking about with Todd France. Todd France already tried to swing for the big fences with a Dallas Cowboy player, Brandon Aubrey. He crashed and burned on that one.
Oh, no. He won. Yeah, who's the highest paid kicker in the National Football League? You know, who in franchise history.
True, but the way he went about it, he already knew the Cowboys still had more leverage than he did. It's not like with Pickens. With Pickens, there's no tenders or nothing above him.
I think that Todd France took the Joneses to the woodshed. David Cantor, he literally took Jerry Jones to the woodshed, and that's DeMarcus Lawrence rep or agent. You remember? He said, "Put your daddy on the phone," right? You know, they literally pulled Jerry pants down and gave him a whooping on his backside. And if we start talking about Rocky, when you look at Rocky Arsenal, who a lot of people said, hey, that was T. Higgins switched over from David Mulugeta to Rocky Arsenal. There are a lot of people saying he should switch agency. People fail to realize that contract that Rocky Arsenal took to Jerry Jones on Ezekiel Elijah Elliott, they won that contract. Jerry Jones is pretty much 0-5 versus all of these things. So it doesn't matter.
What about the agent that he had? What about the agent he had? What about the agent for Osa? Because didn't one of our agents, when it came to Osa Diggins' contract, didn't Osa change agent?
No, Sam Leaf is still his agency, and I just talked to Sam Leaf. Yeah, no.
What was the one agent then that switched up that got a new contract with Dallas? It was one of our guys. He switched agents, and then
that was the beginning of the conversational piece with Dak Prescott. He had switched agency to Todd France. Remember, they was under CAA, whoever you call that. You know, so that's what happened with that.
I think that it's like, if we really want, I think as Cowboys, we're so obsessed with the fact that they are having difficulty with George Pickens. I was like, that's because the agent he has wants him to get paid high money. Pickens, for all we know, don't care if he's not the highest paid player. He more cares about the fact that if I don't get a contract with Dallas, I'm going to end up going to another team that may not be, the grass from the greener side kind of situation. Because let's remember, Pickens was stuck in the mediocrity of Pittsburgh with the likes of Mason Rudolph and Justin Fields and,
Sierra husband to a degree.
And Russell Wilson and company, to where now he in Dallas. I'm like, if I was Pickens, I would sit down with Mulugeta. I get what you're trying to do, man, but how can you assure me that the next team that will trade for me, I'll have the same success? Because he could say, look at Amari Cooper. Cooper went to the Browns. Cooper isn't that good anymore over there.
Yeah. All right. So let me ask you this. Let's go down memory lane, right? And we say it's not about the money. I got Amari Cooper number personally in my phone, right? I'm not flexing, but I know for sure the temperaments of Amari Cooper, right? We have business deals together. We even sponsored on a few events together. Amari Cooper took $7 million less to stay here. He would never recoup that money ever again because the Washington team was willing to pay him. But by his loyalty for the team, he took $7 million less. He is never going to see that money again. And under the advisory of that, and I know Amari Cooper doesn't have David Mulugeta as his agency, but people can see the tea leaves. People can see all of that. If George Pickens were on the same page with all what you're saying, he would have been already signed a $28 million contract. You know, he would have already been saying, okay, I'm just going to face this. I'm going to go into this year, and I'm going to bet on myself. I'm going to sign this $28 million contract, and let's go. Guess what? He didn't sign that $28 million contract, meaning that there's somewhere in the languages that they are having some type of disagreement. That's just for what it is.
Yeah, I agree 100% Law in your segment when you talk about that. Like, there's got to be some disagreement of some kind going on because truly, I think George Pickens wants to stay in Dallas. And when one of your guys talked about, oh, somebody would trade it for him.
In closing, too, by the way.
In closing, if they wanted to trade him, that would have been done. As we've seen, 31 other teams don't want the man. Because you were saying, Law, it's about the product on the field. I would say, actually, it's not really just the product on the field. When George Pickens was playing in Pittsburgh, as talented as he was, the first thing people think about is George Pickens, the crash out. George Pickens, the crybaby on the sideline. He had that nickname crybaby for a reason. George Pickens, the dude who shows up late to meetings. At the end of the day, as good as players can be, some teams don't want to take on your headaches. If I think I'm lying, look at Antonio Brown. Look at Odell Beckham. Talented guys, and guess what? Teams say your talent is not enough. It's not worth the bullshit.
No doubt, man. Hey, I appreciate you for calling in, Chief. Thank you. Mm-hmm.
No problem, man. You have a good one.
That's my guy, Texas Wolf from the 757. To get into this conversation piece, I don't want you guys to turn on Pickens. For standing his ground. I'm always team players get their money and all of that good stuff. But ultimately, I'm a Cowboy fan before any of these players ever open up their eyelids, right? Before they even could spell blue, silver, and even knew what a football is, right? I'm a true Dallas Cowboy fan. I want the greater good for this team. The greater good for this team is not putting these players on franchise tags. It is equivalent to a payday loan. I get it. I understand. I understand that you put players on a franchise tag so that they won't be able to see the open market. I get all of that. I understand that part of it. Partial truth equals whole lies, though. The reason why teams are not calling George Pickens, it's not like he got no tender on that tag. You talking about ultimately what they got, a first round tender plus a team got to fork up $40 million something dollars? A team will be willing to roll the dice first before they get the opportunity to give up that type of cachet on these new rookies before they can reach out. Now, if they board gets swiped after day one, day two, maybe, just maybe, they'll pick up the phone and call Jerry and say, hey, that Pickens deal, you still got him on the table? Let's start negotiating this. It's a good power play by the Cowboys. That is a real good power play. I can't even hold you because it's saying, basically, this is my lady, and if y'all want her, you got to take her to Roof Chris, Ocean Prime, plus you got to pay for the date and pay for the wedding ring and pay for all of this stuff. And then maybe we might consider. Some teams are looking at this saying, hey, man, I just want to hit, man. Come on, man. I ain't finna do all of this for that. No way. Unfortunately, that's just what's going on with Pickens. I got the next caller, man. Too cool from the 210. You in. What you got for me?
No, we can't do that. Like,
well, you can't.
Law, you gotta pick a side. You gotta pick a side, Law.
Which one?
First, three different things, right? First, you can't say the agents took Jerry Jones to the woodshed and then say Jerry Jones need to pay the player. We're boasting about how the agents taking him to the woodshed. First and foremost, Ezekiel Elliott earned that money. Ezekiel Elliott got that second deal off of coming out of his. That was his first deal. It wasn't his second deal. It wasn't his third deal.
Let me retort. You said Ezekiel Elliott earned his money. Did Ezekiel Elliott skip the line for that money though?
Did he do what?
Did he skip the line for that money? When the negotiation start? His contract was 2 years before. So he held out for that money, and he didn't need to really fight for that money until 2020. He skipped the line. Did he get paid before Dak Prescott, yes or no?
No.
Did he get paid before Jalen Smith, yes or no? Yes. Did he get paid before La'el Collins?
Yes. No. You got to go back. Ezekiel Elliott got picked before Dak Prescott, too.
Yes. And what was his rookie's contract?
Same draft.
4th round pick. Rico Gathers was making more money than Dak Prescott. Michael Gallup was making the argument.
League before Dak.
Rico Gathers wasn't in the league before Dak Prescott.
When did Rico Gathers come to the league, Lo?
Shoot, 2017-18.
Before he was there before Dak.
Dak got drafted in 2016.
So Rico Gathers was. So what round did Rico Gathers get drafted in?
He was an undrafted guy.
Okay, so his contract is going to be up before somebody that got drafted, correct? Yes or no?
What I'm saying is that at the time when you had your quarterback, he was getting paid more. Michael Gallup, because he was a 3rd round draft pick, was getting paid more. Jalen Smith was getting paid more.
Did they get drafted before Dak though?
Ezekiel Elliott contract wasn't ready to get paid until 2020. He skipped the line. He skipped the line and skipped everyone. I'm not saying that Ezekiel. Go ahead.
So before Ezekiel Elliott, when was the last time a running back went in the 1st round and top 10? Before Ezekiel Elliott.
Todd Gurley.
When was the last year?
Todd Gurley. And I think that happened. I think Todd Gurley got drafted. What year, y'all? 14 or 15, something like that. Running backs was on a skid. Running backs wasn't getting paid anymore. Running backs was considered an afterthought.
And Ezekiel Elliott brought him back to life.
He brought back the contracts for running backs back to life. Arsenal took the Cowboys to the woodsheds about that. On top of that, ladies and gentlemen, I just had to say this. Their organization, Arsenal, was feeling crunchy, and that's old school. They was feeling bad and mad about the fact that they said Zeke who when they drafted Tony Pollard. You remember that?
Yes.
Are you saying that Ezekiel Elliott contract was fair and balanced and it was within the marketplace?
Listen, every dime that Zeke was supposed to get paid, Zeke earned that money. Just like Dak. Whatever Dak got paid, Dak earned that money. I'm not disputing that. What I'm disputing right now.
All players earn their money. Hold on. All players earn their money though, by the way, you know.
Yeah, they do, right? But to a degree. The NBA do something totally different than the NFL. The NFL is a next man's up mentality. What you're saying right now.
Hold tight. Put a 2 in the chat if y'all can hear. A lot of people say that they can't hear. Put a 2 in the chat. Put a 2 in the chat if y'all can't hear. Because I can hear him pretty well. And I'm saying leave and come out. Leave and come back, ladies and gentlemen. Because let me see. Mic check. I can
hear you.
You can hear me. They said that they can't hear me. All right, let me go to another a deal here. Let me see. Mic check. 1, 2, 3. Can y'all hear me now? Put a 2 in the chat. Can y'all hear me now? Mic check. Mic check. All right. Hey, man, y'all got to get off of them sites, man. Y'all got to refresh, man. Get off of them sites. Get out of there. All right. So they can hear us. And they say that they can hear us. They had to leave and come back. All right. Now, let's reset. Dak Prescott, franchise tag twice. That was an epic failure. DeMarcus Lawrence, franchise twice. That was an epic failure. Dalton Schultz, franchise, epic failure. Tony Pollard, franchise, epic failure. You can't prorate that money. You can't spread that money out. It hurts the team more than help the team. Now go ahead with your rebuttal.
No, because you're taking something that's designed for the team to keep a player and be compensated for him, and we're using it against them is what I'm saying right now. Can you hear me?
Break it down.
So you're saying right now that based off the franchise tag, we just gonna use George Pickens right now. You're saying that all these agents took Jerry Jones to the bank. So basically, based off your argument that you're saying right now, why shouldn't David Mulugeta with George Pickens be able to take Jerry Jones to the bank as well? Because everybody else taking him to the woodshed, right? However, let me ask you this: Parsons got paid.
Right.
Walker was the next man up. How much did Walker get?
I don't know. It's over 40. You talking about Trayvon Walker?
It's less. It's Walker got paid less than Michael Parsons.
It doesn't matter. He didn't put up those type of numbers.
You're saying
because at the end of the day,
$40 million.
At the end of the day, who just got paid $40 million that plays for the Texans? 40 is the new rate now for edge rushers. By the way.
Yes, Anderson.
Not Anderson and the other kid. His name is tip of my tongue. The other kid, the
Anderson
other pass.
got paid $50 million.
50 mil, and then that's the going rate. That's the going rate. Everybody's trying to fight. Look, these are billionaires with a B. You're asking millionaires to take discounts from billionaires. That's not going to happen on a consistent basis. It's not going to happen.
Oh, no. When I make an argument why Anderson got paid $50 million, you can we can all get on the line can say why Anderson got paid $50 million. The question is, Anderson and Walker both came in that same draft. Why did Walker not get paid more than Michael Parsons?
Danielle Hunter is the other guy that's getting paid 40. Now, Danielle Hunter is the other guy that's getting paid 40 and 50 on the same team. What is the argument? What's your point?
I just said it. So why did Walker, the next man up, not get paid more than Michael Parsons?
Because he ain't no freaking Michael Parsons.
Okay, so George Pickens is not JSN. So why are you saying we got the Jerry Jones?
Because
George Pickens what JSN got?
Because just like contracting 101, if you wait till the end of life of a contract, you're going to pay more on the premium. Because JSN was extended, that's why they were able to move that money that way. They already had inbuilt philosophies of extending their players. That's the differences between the two. If they were to extend Parsons, not last season, but the season before, instead of having him to go into his rookie's fifth-year option, they would have gotten Parsons maybe at 30 to 32 to whatever Bosa got. But by them waiting, that's why his money is 46, 47, whatever the APY is.
This water chamber here, you open it right here, pour the water in. This goes.
But let me hit you back, man.
Does it have noise?
Let me hit you back. Yeah. Let me hit him back. Don't want to get my guy in trouble. All right, so he had to go off. But that's the argument. I'm not saying look, this is what I've said overall. The last contracts that Jerry probably would won is the Osa contract. I give him that, and he's gone. The Trayvon Diggs contract, he won on that contract. He got him to sign early. The Tyron Smith contract, oh my goodness. The incentive-based contract towards the end was a good contract. Tyler Smith contract, to a degree too, by the way, is a contract. I'm not saying that they lose on everything, but when it gets to going back and forth, 9 times out of 10, they lose. 9 times out of 10. Keith Washington said JSN contract after taxes come out to be 36.9. So Pickens belongs in the 35 to 37 million range. We can't compare those two just straight up though, because of the simple fact one is an extension and this other one is new money based off of a brand new year going into it. Now, what Pickens can do is what the Cowboys banking on, is for him to swallow everything up and say, we're going to play under the franchise tag of $28 million. And what they hoping is that he agreed to those terms. Let the AI speak.
At JDiz $5. Lawman, it's been a minute. But I was waiting for the Jones family no sense to drop. Right on cue. We should not be surprised with them failing.
No doubt, man. I got my guy with the play at 100 grand. You in? Talk to me.
Listen, man.
What's up, bro?
This, trade George Pickens. Let's go get a wide receiver. Man, we ain't got time for that shit, man.
Yeah.
We ain't got time for that. Like, stop saying that, bro. Like, you sound dumb. Don't you know next year the cycle gonna repeat itself with CD? It's gonna repeat itself with CD.
Yeah.
We're gonna go through the same thing next year with CD. Every year, it's the same thing. Every year. Just with a different player.
Yeah.
I don't understand why y'all guys don't notice that. Why
Right.
y'all don't see that?
They don't understand that portion of it. But I know
Every
that
time
I know
it's the
that
same thing.
I know that there's some resistance to 100 grand. It'll be a different story if Pickens already signed this franchise tag thing, right? And he just waited to come
why
out
he
there.
ain't signing it, Law? But you know why he's not signing it?
Break it down.
The same reason why Brandon Aubrey didn't sign his.
Break it
He
down.
didn't sign the tender.
Break it down.
Sign it.
And where they met
And he
at?
got a contract.
Where they met at?
And he got a contract.
Where they met at? In the middle. The tender was 5.7.
Right.
And he just signed a $7 million APY, $20 million guarantee.
Which I think that's
Right.
all he wanted anyway.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
that was the contract that they had in the beginning, that they talked about in the beginning. That's the same contract, man.
Facts.
The same thing. But his agent said, man, we're gonna shoot high, man.
Wait. My kicker wants $10 million.
We need 10. We need 10. And they came out and said, man, we offered Brandon Aubrey 7.5. They said that.
Where
we
they-
offered him 7.5.
we offered, yeah.
And everybody said, oh, no, they didn't. They ain't offered him 7.5. They didn't do that. Yes, they did.
Yeah. So with that being said, they offered, we just don't know what it was. Remember, and it could have been tongue in cheek. I wish now if Jerry would have spoken, we would still be in the press conference right about now, right? But he was going to start talking about an elephant that can fly and what he had to do when he was born before and when he was a tick. You know what I'm saying, on the elephant's ass. But what I'm saying is basically, David Mulugeta is a different animal than Todd France, right? We know that, right?
And that's why
we
they're
get that.
approaching him different.
They approaching him different.
Yeah, he's not. They already know it ain't got nothing to do with Pickens. It's the agent, man. It's the agent, and you're not going to fire your agent.
Right.
You're not going to do that.
Fire your lawyer.
Just fire the agent. And just, no.
Hey,
are you crazy?
Hey, 100 grand. Fire your attorney and go with a court-approved attorney. You know. Hey, go with the court-approved attorney. Fire your attorney that can get you up out of the slams. Go with the court-approved attorney or represent yourself. And trust me, I got you. Trust me. Trust me. Now where were you? Again at 3:00? You know.
Yeah. You know you done fucked up, right?
Yeah. You know you fucked up. Now tell us again where you was at 3:00. You know. And I get now. Here's my counter to Roby, because Roby says, "Hey, Higgins did that." What I was trying to tell my guy, hold on, I got a super chat. Hold tight, and I got to tie this all in. Hold on, get the super chat.
At JDiz $5. Not done. If the Jones family so-called wanted a Super Bowl, Pickens would have signed first day of the offseason with whatever money he wanted.
Oh yeah, shoot, they would have gave him They would have gave him $90 million. Shoot, we win a Super Bowl, and we won the Super Bowl last year. Yeah, I see that. but this is, and I appreciate you, JDiz. You know, but 100, you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
This the Higgins thing. My whole thing is, and I'm not beating up Ezekiel Elliott. I get what Too Cool is saying. Too Cool might as well have a tattoo of Ohio State on his back. You know what I'm saying? But we just draft all Ohio guys, man. Too Cool be happy. But what I'm saying is that when we say we going to move from David Mulugeta to Rocky Arsenal, what I'm saying, it doesn't matter who the agency is, whether it's Todd France, Arsenal, David Cantor, or to a degree, David Mulugeta. They all take Jerry to the woodshed. You know what I'm saying? Eventually. Yeah, that's all I'm saying, basically. Yeah. So if what you think the stance going to be with Rocky Arsenal, you got a player that put up 1,400 yards, 9 touchdowns, right? Who pretty much saved some of the low energy that we had last year, and we was able to see, oh my goodness, if you put CeeDee Lamb and Pickens there together for a long time, oh my goodness, what you think he's going to ask for? You think he's going to ask for $31 million, $32 million?
No.
That's dated contract, man.
I'm trying to get the most money as he can get. I mean, that's what every agent does.
Right.
Now I get you can say, okay, this guy didn't get that. It's supposed to be next man up. This guy didn't get that. Did he put up the same numbers as Michael Parsons? Over a length of time? No.
No.
So that's why he didn't get that contract. I'm going to tell you this right now. If Pickens would have put up these numbers for 4 years straight.
Oh, man, it'd be no question.
You know what I'm saying? Come on. He would be getting 45.
But guess
Easy.
what? Guess what? He would still have to fight for it. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, unfortunately, with the Cowboys, they gotta fight. You gotta fight for it. You gotta fight for it with the Cowboys, man. Other teams you gotta fight for.
Yeah, you gotta fight for it. Yeah.
Come on, man. See, the Cowboys' overall problem is they can't say, "All right, man, this your 3rd year. We're going to pay you now, and we're going to spread that money out."
Yeah.
Gotta solve everything.
Man.
These guys on their 3rd year, that way you got length on the contract, and you could spread that money out. That's what they did with Aubrey. That's why he say he going to be here for 5 years.
Yeah, spread it out.
Why he say that? And it's a 4-year contract. Because he got 1 more year left.
Man, let me tell you something. You got to foresee things. You got to forecast things. In 2023, going into 2023, if the Cowboys were to approach CeeDee Lamb with a $28 to a $29 million contract, guess what?
He would have took it.
He would have took that. CeeDee was considered a slot merchant, not a pretty much premium X wide receiver on the outside. It took up until week 6 and week 7 for people for the Cowboys and everybody to realize, oh, CeeDee is CeeDeing, right? In 2023. Right. And the Cowboys still, after that season, had to go through a whole offseason of, do you pay him or do you don't? Who do you pay first? Do you pay Parsons? Do you pay Dak? Do you pay the wide receiver? That was the whole conversation that helped the NFL out all offseason. I remember going back and forth and people were saying, you got to pay Parsons. You got to pay Parsons. You got to pay Parsons. Parsons is the end all be all. You got to pay him before Dak. You got to pay him before CeeDee.
At freshman_cute at $11.
Hold on, got the super chat.
If Pickens would have had 4,000 yard seasons, we wouldn't have got him for a 3rd round pick either.
Right, that's the counter. Yeah, we wouldn't have been able to get him.
No. I mean, if he was a Cowboy, that's what I mean.
I get what you're saying.
If he was a Cowboy, that's what I mean. That's what I'm saying.
Appreciate you, freshman. Yeah.
That's the combination of, and everybody said, I get it. You want the commodity, but when you get the commodity that got 1 year left on his contract, then we're going to have to deal with that. Yeah. So that's the problem with trading for guys. Because when we trade for guys that got 1 year on his contract and now we got to pay him, we wouldn't have got Dexter Lawrence because then we got to pay him.
True. True.
You know what I'm saying?
They didn't attempt
that
that.
kills us too.
Yeah, they do.
That
Yeah.
kills us too. You know, like that's a problem. So that's another reason why Steven says, you know what? Let's get this wide receiver in the draft that got 4 to 5 years. But then they messed that up because, again, Law, they want to wait. Man, I need you to prove it all the way out.
Yeah.
And then I need you to play on this franchise tag. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. Come on. Now, don't get me wrong, because there's some players that they do that with. So
Right.
it's a combination of they don't do it, and it's a combination of their agents could be like, nah, we don't want that deal.
Right.
It's just like with Pickens. Pickens, when he came here, you gonna do a contract extension? Nah, we good. Pickens said it, we good.
We good.
We not doing none of that.
Because he
So
had to
you
still
can't
prove
blame the
himself.
Josephs. Why didn't you pay him when he got here? He didn't want to get paid. He didn't want that.
But
He
that
wanted to play.
But that's when the negotiation and you foreseeing things. Don't you know how many ladies, when you talk to them, they said, I don't want to talk to them. You just got to show them out and have a good time. Eventually, they'll come talk to you. So I'm just using it as an example.
Yeah, right. But if my guy is balling, Law, you come, you want to talk? Nah,
I don't want to ball.
Because I'm trying. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. Nah, I don't want to talk to y'all. Nah, I'm trying. My guy is up. I wouldn't. Remember with that?
Yeah,
when Dak was balling and they had that contract already done, and then Dak came back to them and said, "Nah, I don't want that contract."
But
remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. But here's what I'm gonna say though. When we were out there in Oxnard, right? And Pickens was making all of them one-hand catches and catching the ball like this and like that. I wouldn't have left that sucker out there without a contract. I would have pulled him, David Mulageta. We would have closed the room, and we'd have been saying, hey, let's just do this, man.
Well, that's different.
I know, but you got
doing it on the field. How many times you got a pet cat, Law, and he killing it in Oxnard? Then he gets to the preseason game.
That's
and
the
he
risk.
Can't do a goddamn thing.
That's the risk. That's the risk you got to pay, man. Hey, that's hindsight 2020. After that damn Green Bay game or somewhere mid through the season. Maybe that Carolina's game, I'd have said, look, man, come here, Pickens. Come, bring your ass here. Come on over here. I got this contract on the table, man. I'm giving y'all Siamese contracts. You and CD, y'all finna have the same deal. Yeah.
Hey, listen, if we follow Law's logic, James Washington would have got paid because James Washington was balling out.
No, it did. He never balled out. No.
He caught that pass across the field and got hit and they never get back up.
James Washington was out there with them damn Emmitt Smith shoulder pads on out there. I said, God damn. James Washington had them big old shoulder pads. I said, why he got them big old shoulder pads on out there? Shout out to you, James Washington, though. Let the AI speak, man.
JDiz $5. Bottom line, the biggest reason it's been 30 plus years is the Jones family and lack of football operations knowledge with players after rookie deals.
Yes, indeed. He ain't lying, man. Hey, JD is speaking right, nothing but the truth. But in closing, though, 100 grand, what you got for me, man? In closing, bro.
But again, man, all this trade Pickens talk. If you trade Pickens, man, you might as well say, okay, we need a couple more years out of you, dog.
Yeah.
Because who's to say that this rookie wide receiver? That he gonna do what he do.
Right.
Come on, remember we had Tolbert. What did Tolbert do?
Man,
trash.
Man, come on, man.
Trash.
Come on,
Tolbert
man.
couldn't bust a grape out here. I'm sorry.
Ironically, I think Tolbert and Pickens was in the same damn draft, I believe. I was banging, I ain't gonna say banging the table because some people say, hey man, pause. But I was yelling, let's go get Pickens, and we drafted Sam Williams.
So, I just hope that Pickens says, you know what? I'll do it again. I'm gonna do
Right.
it for Dak. I'm gonna do it for
Yeah.
CD. I'm gonna do it for my brothers, man. And I'm gonna come out here and I'm gonna play, man. That's what, and that's what the Joneses is banking on.
Right. Right.
You
Yeah.
gonna come out here and you gonna do it for Dak, and you gonna do it for CD. You gonna do it for those boys in the locker room, and that's the leverage that they are counting on right there. That's what they counting on.
You know what? And that's what Shadi said. I reached out to him personally, and he will be out here. You get what I'm saying? He tried to do that with
And
Parsons,
that's
but
big.
that's
and that's
yeah,
big.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
big. I'm
Yeah.
not out here for the Joneses. I'm out here for my coach.
Right.
I'm out here for my players. And everybody says, oh, we don't have the culture and all that.
Right.
That's culture. If he come out there and he play, that's culture. I don't care about wins and losses. That's culture. In spite of your contract, in spite of all that, you still came out here and played for this coach. Come on, Law. Mike McCarthy wouldn't have been able to pull that off if it happens that way.
Yeah, but the only thing is, in closing, bro, is that when all of that happens and you start getting tendonitis in your knee or elbow, do you still have that same faith, though? You know what I'm saying? Like if you hurt your feet, you know, that's the scariest thing. And I talked to these players and I said, what is the biggest fear when you were in a contract end of life type of thing? And they say, those injuries, man. I can tell you all day, man, get up and do your thing, you know, when you have guaranteed money down the stretch for multiple years, but you don't have guaranteed money beyond 2026. It's scary. It's a scary life. It's a scary life.
But law, even if you just got that deal, you can get hit and get hurt.
Right. Yeah.
And it's a wrap. It's over with. You ain't gonna see the rest of that contract. So if you think about it, yeah, the guaranteed money is not going to be $50 million more, but it's still 28. So if you get hurt, I got 28. It's not like you got $1 million.
But to
you
us,
see what I'm saying?
no.
So,
to us, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. Now to them, it's a lot of money too, but it's nothing like knowing for the next 3 years. Yeah.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing too. Let's say you do get hurt. You think another team? Odell Beckham. There's rumors Odell Beckham might be coming back.
Yeah, but that's a whole nother conversation. Go ahead.
All right, but no, what you mean? Come on, man. He been out of football for how long? I don't care if he come back and get vet minimum. Come on, dog. He done had an ACL tear and everything. They talking about bringing him back. So if Pickens come out here, if Pickens come out here, teams would have paid Pickens. I don't care. You could talk about teams talking about how bad of a guy Pickens was. Pickens already showed he a good guy just in that 1 year. The reason why he ain't get paid is because I'm not going to pay this man and give up 2 picks. I'm not doing that.
Yeah,
that's the reason
thing.
why it ain't happened. It ain't got nothing to do with his
that's what I'm saying.
If they could deal with Antonio Brown, they could deal with Pickens. Come on, man. Come on.
No doubt, man.
So if he was to get hurt, I guarantee you another team will come out there and pay that man. I guarantee you.
Yeah. Another team eventually would, man. I appreciate you. Thank you for calling in 100 grand.
All right, bro.
Yes, indeed. And that's the price of doing business. That's what these players don't want to bank on, though, you know. They don't want to bank on going out there week 6, your back breaking to 1,000 pieces. You got the $28 million, all money ain't good money, right? But the foreseeable future, it's going to, as crass as it sounds, when you get paid in Dallas, they start hating you in Dallas. That's the other part of it. There's no forgiveness when you get hurt. There's none. There's none of that, unfortunately. It's a 1 to 2 year process for an ACL injury on that type of skill set position. When you get paid in Dallas, they don't care about it. They want the results. They say, oh, he trash, he wash, he suck. He ain't playing the same. Then you rush him. I know Trayvon Diggs is not the best person to bring up with that. But a third of you got, he's washed, he's sucked, he's not focused. Don't you know what that do on a mental mindset? He getting burned. So he rushed himself out there. Then they start leaking stuff. Any other organization, you didn't have to expose the fact that he missed out on $500,000. Not all information should be open to the public because he didn't have good faith with the training staff that worked here. And I know a third of you guys going to side with the owners on this because of Trayvon Diggs' character. But people, they see these type of things. They see these type of things. So D-Law used leverage. I'll be out there when I get my shoulder fixed up. What the Cowboys had to do, they had to pay him. Then he got his shoulder fixed. See, that's the real conversation. That's the real conversation. You do get, the reason why you get overpaid in Dallas is because they wait too long. The contract for Ezekiel Elliott was one thing. But the starting asking price when Dak Prescott was in contract negotiation was at $25 million. The team could have got him for $25 million. But they slowed to pay him. They paid Jalen Smith. They paid La'el Collins. They paid Ezekiel Elliott, who went back to the table before he could get back to it. It was leaked that the coach was saying, shoot, we'll pay him $35. But they had the exclusive franchise tag on him. They gave him an offer. It was in principle. After the first 3 or 4 games versus is in 2019, y'all saw the numbers he was doing. That 25 was null and void at that point. Negotiation went back into the fact. Jerry Jones got into his feelings, and he finished out that year. A third of the Cowboy fans got into their feelings and said he was whack. He can't win the meaningful games. And they made it about that versus making it about winning. Of course, we had Jason Garrett. We was already not able to win because we had Jason Garrett too, by the way. I don't give a dog. I like Jason Garrett as a human being. But as a head coach, I would never foresee him winning a Super Bowl. Unfortunately. It was just a waste of space and time for 13 years, 13 seasons. But the expectations never go away. Dave Campo, the expectations were still to win a Super Bowl. With Dave Campo, good person. Wade Phillips, the expectations were to win a Super Bowl. Good person, not head coaching. Not as a head coach. From the time Wade Phillips was here, flipped around to Jason Garrett, we've been chasing for a legitimate defense. Jay Diz.
At Jay Diz $5. The Jones family pays liabilities and suck-ups, but their stars always get paid late or leave.
Big
30
facts.
plus drought continues because of them.
It's because we just don't pay. Now, when we do get, now, to be fair to the Jones, I'm going to be fair to them on this. When we do eventually do pay early, bad stuff happens, unfortunately. It could be operating in the principles of however they do it. And I know it sounds crass. They paid Tyron Crawford early. We knew how they go. They paid him because he was hurt, too, by the way. If you get injured, they pay you, I guess. You know, that's how they went with Barry Church, Tyron Crawford. But it's a pattern. That's what we do. Michael Gallup tore his leg into 1,000 pieces almost. got paid $50 to $60 million guaranteed. I got DP for the 979, but when I try.
Yes, sir. What's going down with your law?
Not much, man. What you got?
Man, it amazes me. First of all, can you hear me okay? Am I coming in good?
At first you wasn't, but you sounding pretty much clearer now, you know.
Okay, yeah. I think it was a bad area, but it just amazes me how many we got all these Jerry Jones sympathizers, man, out here, man. Like, I don't understand how people can defend this front office as much as they can when we see the same thing over and over again when it comes to their star players having to, like, you talk every time about how they have to fight for their money.
Right.
You know, just like you just said, they could have gotten Dak at a way cheaper price, but they betted against him, and it ended up biting them in their behind. These agents, they take this front office to the woodshed every single time. I don't understand how, you know, I don't know who was the call they called earlier, and that's no disrespect to him. I'm not trying to, like, you know, make fun of him, but it's like they take him to the woodshed every single time. They get the big contracts. Dak, at the time he signed his contract, he had the highest paid contract. CE, he had the second highest paid as far as wide receivers. I mean, like, they take these boys to the woodshed. The only ones that I guess they might get over on is like Tyron Smith, maybe like on the Jalen Smith one. But they always pay when they pay early. It's always the guys that
they didn't squeeze them to a degree. Nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it. You know what I'm saying? Like La'el Collins literally, like if you break down La'el, he literally had no choice but to sign that contract. Jalen Smith, I hope he's not listening right now, but he had half of a foot. He really didn't have a fight in that. You know what I'm saying?
That man, he had the drop foot, man.
Had the drop foot.
That brother, he ain't have no choice. He probably was like, man, I ain't finna see this money nowhere else.
Yeah.
So, you know, but shout out to Jalen Smith though. You know, but again, just in all seriousness, it's just, I know 100 Grand was saying like it's crazy to say back talk about trading George Pickens. It's realistic because the way that they're talking, it's like it makes it seem like I would not be the least bit surprised if they didn't take a wide receiver in the first round. So if they end up doing that, then trade Pickens and get what you can out of him, because it doesn't make any sense to just hold on to this dude and then just let him go for nothing, because they always do that. Somebody that always never resigns, they never get anything in return. And again, like I've said to you numerous times, I'm sick of this whole building through the draft mentality, and them being cool with playing guys on the franchise tag. You know, I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer, but I don't understand what is a positive about getting these guys playing on a franchise tag. Is that there's no positive on it. To me, it's just you simply betting against your own player.
Yeah.
You know, so but I mean, it is what it is on that, man. Like, you know, I'm honestly ready for this draft to be over with. You know, and a lot of these, like I said again, a lot of these fans, man, that they'll let Jerry, they'll believe anything Jerry or these networks tell you, and people gotta stop bringing up what happened with George Pickens in Pittsburgh, man. Like, that stuff is old, and to be honest, that's not the worst thing that I've ever seen out of a wide receiver. You know, I don't think anybody can name me one wide receiver that didn't have some kind of diva in them.
Right.
I mean, maybe you could say JSN. It hasn't really had any issues, but you know, Puka, AJ Brown, I've even seen Justin Jefferson throwing tantrums on the sideline before.
Right.
So I mean, it's like it's that just comes with the territory. The worst thing Pickens was doing last year was showing up to meetings late. Guarantee he wasn't the only one, and he ain't gonna be the last one. So,
Right.
you know, with that
But you know what? But you know what? Believe it or not,
Yes, sir.
if JSN were to go into this season without that contract, how you think his disposition would be? You know what I'm saying? When he be like, yes, let me go play another year. And then when he get down for contracting, do you think that if they wait till the end of life that his agency and all of that won't be kicking up fuss? Come on, man. Look, we just talking for him. Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. And it's just like man. We get tired of seeing this crap every doggone year with the players, man. Like, stop making these dudes wait to get paid, man. It's dumb. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you would think that they would want to get ahead of these contracts and so they can save more money. Like, I can't stand the Philadelphia Eagles with every fiber of my being, but I like how he does business, man. He ain't got no problem paying dudes when they pay him. A.J. Brown, even though he about to get booted out of Philly, that dude got paid 3 times, I think, when he was over there. You know, they managed to pay him and Smitty. They paid
Smitty early. They paid Smitty early. If they were to wait, he'd get 34, 35, but they paid him early. He got 28, 29. Yep.
Exactly. And one last thing before I can land a plane. People keep yapping about how Dallas can't afford how they can't afford Crosby or Myles Garrett. You just mentioned it, Law. The Texans got paid that Danielle Hunter $40 million and paid Will Anderson Jr. $50. That's $90 million. On one team. You mean tell me Dallas can't afford Crosby or Myles Garrett? Man, y'all tripping. Y'all don't want to win, man. Y'all just want to stay. Y'all instead y'all must be a Stephen Jones fan club, man. Y'all worry about the cap just like he is, man. That y'all don't want to win, man. Y'all just want us to stay relevant, stay getting our backs blown out. Pause if necessary. I'll land the plane with that, brother.
Yes, indeed, man. I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for calling in, Chief. Yes, good call.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you taking my call. Thank you.
Hell yeah, man. It's a good call from my guy. He was the last caller, by the way.
Goodbye.
I don't know if I can find. I'm looking for that clip. I don't know if it's gonna be this right here. Though. Let me see.
How do you sell? And I know a lot of Cowboy players, Cowboy fans are, they look at DeMarcus and they're like, he doesn't get any sacks anymore. But he's winning. If you look at his, metrics, he's winning all his pass rush matchups. He's got a ton of pressures. How do teams weigh sacks nowadays versus, some of these advanced stats that show that he is getting pressure on the quarterback without getting the actual sack?
Yeah, I think it's really easy. Brian McIntyre is our analytics director here at GSE. He's been with me 11 years.
I'm going to see if I can find that part, man. Let me see. Because he talked about this David Cantor this 4 years ago.
And you wonder, and obviously we're going to get this.
Okay, here it is right here. They put
the agent for DeMarcus Lawrence, David Cantor, here on Sean and RJ on the Diamond Factory hotline. Is the salary cap real?
Listen.
No, not at all.
That's a effing agent that deals with contracts for players. And I'm talking about multi-million-dollar contracts for players. That's David Cantor's agent. Well, David Cantor's the agent of DeMarcus Lawrence and a few other players, right? Let me rephrase, and we're going to reset, and we're going to listen again. And kudos and credence to 105.3 The Fan for doing this interview 4 years ago. 4 years ago. And so many people want to talk about salary caps and what's real and what's fake and all of this stuff. Listen properly. Listen to me. You don't have to like me. You don't have to love me. But respect this time right here and understand so that we can know, because none of y'all are doing contracts for the NFL.
The agent for DeMarcus Lawrence,
but
David Cantor, here on Sean and RJ on the Diamond Factory hotline. Is the salary cap real?
No, not at all. No.
Why not?
No. It's a very maneuverable instrument, but it is a absolute 100% detriment to the players. It is hidden behind. So here's the thing that fans don't see and that agents don't really ever get to know the official number. But owners every year do a budget, and they give their GM and their contract negotiator what's called a cash spend. It's their cash budget. That is the immovable object. So you're factoring how much cash do we have to spend on our 7, 10, 12 rookies? How much cash can we spend at guard, at tackle, at center, at left backup, at right backup, at defensive end, at defensive tackle, wide receiver, corner, etc. And then your cash budget, which is the actual money that will go out for the 2022 season. There are plenty of owners that pull back. I met with the GM and his entire staff this year in Indianapolis during, our not tampering tamper window. And they were like, listen, we got big problems. They were like, we're going to make a trade for a major position, and they did. They're like, removing a player, and our owner came in and slashed our cash budget by 30%. And to be honest with you, the fans never get to see that, because if they did, they might want to ask for the ticket prices to be slashed 30%,
right.
And they probably realize that the win total likely gets slashed 30%, right? It's really hard to win in this league if you're just pinching pennies. The Bengals are the rare exception, right? Mike Brown, they got lightning in a bottle for a 4-game stretch last year. They were one series away from being the Super Bowl champions, and the Bengals historically don't do the deals that you're seeing out there. They do 1 year of fully guaranteed money, and then the rest is pay as you play and play as you pay. And to be honest with you, it's a broken, antiquated model for an ownership group that is broken and antiquated. But they got Joe Burrow, they got great players around Joe Burrow, and they got really hot at the right time of the year where you just got to catch a nice streak and you could ride it all the way to a Super Bowl trophy, and they almost did. I mean, I was in the game. I represent one of the captains of the team, Von Bell. I represent coaches on the defensive staff. It was amazing. Obviously, it was horrifying for my Rams guys, and then it all flipped. It all flipped in a matter of seconds. But no, the salary cap is a movable object. The teams use it to hide behind. The teams use it to get cheaper or younger or go draft or
cheaper or what? Younger. Shout out to Toxic Tom, man. Shout out to my guy who bringing this up too. If y'all can share this with Toxic Tom, I know he probably checked out many of hours ago, but. You guys give it what he's saying. Listen, I'm going to play this full clip. I ain't going to stop no more. But shout out to Sean and RJ.
They use it to get wiser and older and maybe more expensive, but you can always maneuver the salary cap. You can always restructure contracts. You can always sort of do the New Orleans Saints model, which is, hey, we got lucky with an onside kick, and everybody in the world thinks Sean Payton's a genius now, and let's just kick the can down the road for another 10 or 15 years on the salary cap. And then maybe one day we'll end up having to pay for it. And, oh, by the way, today's that day, right? Sean bailed on his team and is going to go talk on television and make a ton more money than he's already made, and everybody will still call him a genius for one onside kick of a Super Bowl when he had probably one of the best rosters in football for 10 years and didn't really win any other Super Bowls.
Damn.
As you can tell, I'm not a big Sean Payton.
Yeah, yeah, he's supposed to be our next coach here after the Cowboys. You give Mike McCarthy this roster. Well, I mean, the last thing, the reason we were asking about the cap is this isn't. We've been doing this for 11 years with the Cowboys flagship. We have Jerry and McCarthy on. This is very un-Jerry-like to not be in win now mode with Amari gone. And then you're going to let Tank go. We were all scared. Then La'el Collins, is he going to go? And I'm sure you analyze a team's direction when you're preparing for negotiations. What does the Cowboys plan, or what did it appear like to you, David, this offseason?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the Cowboys, I spent a lot of time with Will. I think we have a very good relationship, and I would say, I hope friendship. And I spent a lot of time with Todd, who I love. I don't think anybody should be worried on Tuesday, March 15th. Tomorrow is free agency, not today. This is the dumb money, as we all know. Around the league, this is the dumb money. And this is when guys get cut, and this is when deals get restructured, and this is when sometimes the can does get kicked down the road. But to be totally sincere with you, I believe really strongly in the Cowboys' plan. I mean, listen, you were at the game against the 49ers last year, right?
Yeah.
One drive goes their way, and they're winning. And then who knows what's happening, right? So it's not like this isn't a team that's close. It's not like this isn't an organization that has had some history of winning and putting together playoff teams, right? I mean, I was at the Packers debacle when Jared Cook caught that pass, and, still to this day, I think it's probably the hardest loss I've ever been a part of, for a player.
Wait till you transfer to the future in 2023, my guy. Yes, indeed. All right, got a super chat, man. Let the AI speak.
At JDiz $5. Last one. Now y'all Jones family apologists understand why me toxic and many others give them poop. 30 to 40 years real quick they want change.
I'm still sick
big
just
facts.
talking about it. I mean, the throw, the pass, the loss. I mean, it's unbelievably heartbreaking. But at the end of the day, they're in the hunt, right? And so I think that you should be confident in the organization. I think you should be really confident in their ability to draft really good players, right? Last year, remember this time last year, every person in the world was like, the Cowboys got to get a corner, the Cowboys need another corner, and then the first two corners off the board go 8 and 9, and they're like, oh my God, Micah Parsons was an afterthought draft pick. I remember reading that.
Yeah.
I remember reading the stupid grades on it. It's like, no, these men do this for a living, right? Oh, by the way, is there anybody that would rather have Pat Surtain or I can't remember the other corner, and I represented one that got drafted high, Asante Samuel Jr. Oh, J.C.
Horn.
Is there anybody that's a Cowboys fan that would rather have either of those guys than Micah Parsons?
No.
No, right? So I think that this is a horrible cliche to say, but really trust the process. Like, the Cowboys are not a far football team from being a Super Bowl winner. Like, not just a Super Bowl contender, a Super Bowl winner. There are ridiculously good superstar football players that are on the market, that are still going to get deals, and that are more that are about to get released and more that are about to not get tendered or get restructured and get released by 4 o'clock tomorrow. So this is a 2 or 3 month process. This isn't, hey, day one, oh my God, look what Jacksonville did. Oh my God, the Dolphins signed our 4th wide receiver, Cedric Wilson. We're crazy. We're going to lose the Super Bowl. Oh my.
And I'm glad that he went on, because now you can see it from a different perspective. This was 4 years ago, right? And I know Pat Surtain eventually played even better than what he did his rookie year, and J.C. Horn is a really solid guy playing at DB. But at that time, Parsons was considered love. Y'all turned on Parsons since then. What David Cantor is speaking of, because you got to understand the context of what the time frame that he was saying, is that there's situations that this team was loaded, and when this free agency opens up, they can go get these rock star players to add to the fray. But guess what? That year, they didn't add a single piece. Going into 2022, they got rid of, they got rid of Amari Cooper. It went downward spirally real quickly. They didn't add no pieces. And they went in to where they was going with a team less inferior what they were the year before. Did they record ended pretty good? Yes, 12-5. But if you would have made some moves, oh my gosh. Listen to what I'm going to listen to the end of this.
Oh my God, we traded a bad contract with Amari Cooper, whose production and productivity didn't equal his value, and there wasn't a way to redo it, and we just got a draft pick. No, you can't do that. You can't jump off the bridge and jump off the ledge day one of the tampering window. You have to look at this as a totality, and really, you can't really know what this team is going to be until probably the first week of May, right?
Yeah.
There's going to be a massive shift at the linebacker. I represent Francis Bernard. He's not going to get the exclusive rights free agent tender. So you're going to now need to go in and replace a core special teams guy and a linebacker guy. I imagine.
Woo, look at this. Cantor was cooking. Did we ever replace the linebacker? No. And I get it. Francis Bernard. He might be working at Publix now. He might be Uber lifting or something of that nature. David Cantor, sometimes it's good to just go back and re-listen to what these guys were saying. And I hate beating up this damn team because y'all know I love this team. I don't like this team. If I were to only like this team, I would have did a 10-minute video and I'd have been gone.
Cowboys are very much like a lot of the teams around the league. They want to get younger and faster at the linebacker positions, right? So you're looking for teams that are going to, like the trade that just went down with the Patriots. You know, they're looking for Mack to now go become the starting Mike backer, and, you know, Chase Winovich kind of get pushed out of the door, and it'll be kind of a rush outside backer in the Brown system. There's just so many moves and so much maneuverability, and I mean this when I say this. Like, I don't know the Cowboys' plan. It's not like they call me and they go, hey, David, thank you for doing DeMarcus's deal. Oh, by the way, here's the next 6 deals we're going to do. But I assume it involves a couple more edge guys.
Yeah.
Von Miller's still out there. Chandler Jones is still out there. Randy Gregory's still out there.
Buddy. All right, man. Boy, I done held y'all long enough, man. Let me know how y'all feel about everything. Shout out to all of you guys for this marathon type of show. We got the draft tomorrow. We will be talking more and more things. I may cut up a video to give you excerpts on how I feel about George Pickens and his contract. Stand out, or will he be there, or will the Cowboys piss off a lot of things by drafting a wide receiver in the first round? There's two sides to all of this. If the Cowboys do, now, cons and pros of this. Shout out to you too, cool. Call back tomorrow. Cons and pros. The con of drafting a wide receiver in the first round is only going to piss off and stall off the deal with George Pickens. That's the con of it. And then you got to go through growing pains and realisms of saying, can this guy make it and play it in the National Football League? Can rookie wide receivers do it? Yes. Look at what Ted McMillan did last year. His numbers were not that far apart from George Pickens, by the way. That's the cons of it. The pros side of it from the ownership is that with a first-round draft pick, you got 5 years of total control of said player. And you getting cheap labor. From David Cantor's mouth to y'all ears. He just said the philosophy of the Cowboys are to get younger, faster, at all positions. That's the business model. And that was 4.5 years ago. I don't know what it is now. They could change those things up. But in reality, just like any business, it's always buy low, sell high. The model for what it is. They bought George Pickens for a 3rd-round draft pick. Damn it, they got a 1st-round tender on him. With the notion, if you want him, we want to sell him high back to you. In reality, they looking at this like just like anything in business. If I can find me a young Pickens, that I don't have to force thy hand to pay $35 million, to pay $40 million, to pay $45 million, then damn it, we would do such. And that's coming from Stephen Jones. Now, Jerry could be saying that, hey, whatever Pickens want or need or desire, I'm with that. Pay the man. But when you have two different sets of opinions, or when you have two masters, it's hard to say to yourself, who philosophy are you going to believe in? Is it Jerry Jones' philosophy? Is it Stephen Jones' philosophy? Remember, Stephen Jones didn't want Dion. Stephen Jones didn't want that money over the head. Two different mixed philosophies. Verily, verily, I say to you, Roby, right? Roby. Everyone complain about not winning in 30 years. Go be a Jets fan. I feel you on that. I don't think that people are complaining. they're explaining the situation. And I get that when you haven't been successful in 30 years, 30 seasons, and it's been this length of time, as long as it's been, and you are out there talking about what you did in the 90s. Shut up! And you're talking about what you would do if you granted the opportunity to win another Super Bowl. Shut up! If you talk about the things that you would say to yourself about the legacy and beyond of your team. Shut up! Then that brings ground for us to talk about a team that we loved before you bought this team. Because the Jets for 30 years and 30 seasons got more playoff wins than us. Shut up! The Jets in the last 30 years and 30 seasons don't hold press conference talking about the things that Joe Namath did. The Jets are not bumping their gums and talking about the contract negotiations of what Garrett Wilson will do or will not do. Shut up! So the Jets are not out here holding multitudes of press conference, spitting out their gums and their rhetoric about their team. They're taking their ass whoopings of 30 years and 30 seasons of losing on the chin. Whereas us, we talk about anything and everything that is bestowed upon us. And we are getting ridiculed, sullied, and denigrated. We are getting spit upon. We're getting joked about and laughed about. The Jets are not having a press conference, and you have Bill Clinton, who was a former American president there. So that's for what it is. So if we were to hush our mouths for the last 30 years and 30 seasons, maybe, just maybe, we put in more action on the field versus talking about money and remunerations and talking about these grandiose practice facilities and the stadium being renamed and reclaimed and rebranded over there in Arlington. And if we just take care of business and stand on business, then we will be the team that could probably win some things. But we give all of the enemies, all of our competitors, information day in and day out on where we're directing ourselves to go. So at the end of the day, I may not be as old and gray as Jerry Wayne Jones, but my love for this team was way before he could have the money to buy this team. My love and adulations for this team will be here way long after he's gone from this team. So I would tell y'all, still be boldly and still be a man and talk about the irregularities that this team is not doing on a day-to-day basis. I want us to still call out the things that the team said that they were going to do, and if they didn't do it, I still call it out. So at the end of the day, if anybody needs to shut up, should be Jerry Jones in the front office, because everyone has a reason, but results are those things that matter. And we haven't seen the results. We talk more about the players' money. We talk more about the players' contract than we absolutely talk about what the player's going to do on the field. And my friend, I'm not taking a shot at you, but what I'm saying is that this particular team needs to focus on winning versus focusing on contracting. But ladies and gentlemen, if you want a thing bad enough to go out there and fight for it, to work day and night to give up your time, your peace, and your sleep, if all of your desires of it makes you quite mad that you don't get tired, and it makes you hold everything tawdry and cheap, if life itself seems empty and useless without it, and all that you scheme and dream is about it, if you'll gladly go out there and sweat for it, fret for it, or plan, or lose all terror of your mind, if you would just simply go after the things you want with all of your capacity, strength, sagacity, with faith, hope, and confidence and stern pertinacity, if neither cold or the poverty or the famine shall fade, or the sickness of body or brain can turn you away from the things you want. If dogged and grim and besieged and beset, with the help of Almighty, that's G-O-D, Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones, Willie, you will get it. That's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best of hits and oldies. Brought to you by Shut Up! Jerry! Pay these players. Don't put us through this again. Don't put us through this. We just want to win.
No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might break, but first I stretch. I wake up, flex, down, not check. No drip, this.
Willie Medea. Clay. He do look just like Will McClay do look just like him.
9 out of 10, roll through my hands, I'm by my lonely.
Come on.
Turn to a savage, now my baby wants to hold me.
All right.
I love my fans, don't need no friends, I got my homies. Thought I could trust you, I find out you tried to zone me.
Yeah.
I'm number one up on that court, I'm Nick McGrady.
Yeah.
The first one in, the last one out, can't call me lazy. Put in my hours, send the invoice and they pay me. I need 6 rings like MJ.
Come on, we need 6 of them, baby. Let's get it.
I wake up, flex.
Hey, just to be fair, the last time the Cowboys did win a Super Bowl, Bill Clinton was in office getting hit. Oops, did I say that out loud?
No drip, this. Time to run it on. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Time to run it. Y'all gon' make me take that trip way out.
To the draft is in Frisco, baby. Roller Town, come on down, baby.
Boys don't come to play, you should get worried. One false move, find yourself there getting buried. Dance with the devil, used to love playing those games. Made some bad decisions that brought my mama pain.
Not mines, baby.
I made a promise to her, swore that I would change. I'm on the come up, bet I live up to my name. I wake up, flex, thumb down, not check. No drip, this. Time to run it on. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might break, but first I stretch. Time to run it on. I wake up, flex, thumb down, not check. No drip, this. Time to run it on. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might break, but first I stretch. Time to run it on.
That pill at night. No, I gave you everything I had. I gave you everything I had.
Oh, boy.
They can come closer than close. Yeah. Original, they never will be.
If we offended anyone, charge it to my beard, not my heart. Very, very, very so much so. I be your player too. Wherever you go,
whatever you do.
Until next time, the longest outro in the land, brought to you by Frenkel and Frenkel Personal Injury Lawyers. Yep.
7 years of a perfect love. 7 more and another one.
And another.